The Mutual Broadcasting System presents The Mysterious Traveler. Written, produced, and directed by Robert A. Arthur and David Kogan, starring tonight two of radio's foremost personalities, Carl Weber and Inga Adams, in an original radio drama titled Queen of the Cats.
This is the Mysterious Traveler, inviting you to join me on another journey into the realm of the strange and the terrifying. I hope you will enjoy the trip, that it will thrill you a little and chill you a little. So settle back, get a good grip on your nerves, and be comfortable, if you can, as we prepare to meet the Queen of the Cats. Our story begins late one night in a large New England town. Jane Elliott, an attractive girl in her early 20s, hurries down a quiet and darkened residential street. Finally, she stops before a large colonial house with a nameplate on the door, Dr. George Richards. She hesitates a moment, then rushes up the few steps to the door.
Yes?
Dr. Richards, my name is Jane Elliott. I'm sorry to wake you up at such a late hour, but I'm desperate.
That's quite all right, Miss Elliott. Please come in.
Thank you.
Now, what seems to be the trouble, Miss Elliott? You're pale and trembling.
No, I'm not ill, Doctor. It's Chris. Chris Arnold, my fiancé. Doctor, you've got to help him. You've got to, or something terrible will happen. I know it will.
I'll do everything I can, Miss Elliott. Now, please tell me what's wrong.
Well, I don't know what's wrong. All I know is that Chris is frightened. He's in deadly fear of something.
I see. Where is your fiancé now?
At his home, Brookfield Manor. Doctor, I know it's late, but won't you come with me and see Chris? He needs help desperately.
Please, Miss Elliott, you mustn't cry. Of course I'll come with you, and I'll do what I can.
If you'll follow me, Doctor, Chris's room is this way.
All right. Oh, tell me, Miss Elliott, aren't there any servants in this huge house?
No, Doctor. Chris dismissed them all 2 months ago, except for a cook who's here during the day. He lives alone. Here we are, Doctor.
Who is it?
Chris, it's Jane.
Just a minute. Jane, I've asked you before not to... Who's he?
Darling, this is Dr. Richards. Doctor, this is my fiancé, Chris Arnold.
How do you do, Mr. Arnold?
Why the devil did you bring him? I don't need a doctor.
Please, darling, I couldn't stand to see you.
Forgive me, Mr. Arnold, but it's obvious to the most untrained eye you do need a doctor.
Chris, please tell the doctor what you're afraid of.
I'm not afraid of anything.
I'm afraid that's not true. Your eyes are twitching, and you keep glancing around the room nervously.
Mind your own business.
People who are ill are my business. I want to help you, but I can't unless you tell me what you're afraid of.
Darling, please tell him. Please, you can't go on this way.
Yes. You're right. I can't go on this way.
Believe me, Mr. Arnold, you'll feel much better once you've talked your fears out. Now, suppose you start from the beginning and tell me everything.
All right, Doctor. I suppose it all began 2 years ago at a party Jane and I were at.
Oh, Chris, isn't this a wonderful party?
The only thing wonderful about it is you.
Oh, Chris, don't. People are watching.
A fine thing when a man can't kiss his best girl in public.
At Miss Tyndall's school, we were taught a young lady never kisses a man in public.
Miss Tyndall is setting romance back 50 years. Who are you looking for?
Rana Farouk, my roommate at Miss Tyndall's.
Oh, she's the Egyptian girl you were telling me about.
Yes, I want you to meet her. Only, better not fall in love with her, as every other man does.
Sounds as though she's a second Cleopatra.
Oh, there she is, Chris. Come on.
So that's Rana. No wonder men can't resist her.
Chris, your mouth is open. Rana!
Hello, James. I've missed you.
Rana, this is Chris Arnold. Chris, Rana Farouk.
Hello, Chris. I would have recognized you any place from the picture Jane had of you on her dresser, Miss Tyndall.
Hello, Rana.
Oh, look, there's Miss Tyndall waving at me. Excuse me, won't you?
Of course, Jane.
I'll be back in a minute.
You know, Chris, at Miss Tyndall's, the first thing I would see in the morning when I got up, and the last thing before I went to bed, was your picture. And I always knew that someday we should meet. And now we have. Why are you staring at me like that? Aren't you going to say anything?
I prefer just to look. Even now, Doctor, 2 years after our first meeting, I find it difficult to describe how beautiful Rana was. She had lustrous black hair that came down to her shoulders, green eyes that bewitched you. And she walked. She was so lithe and graceful that every eye in the room followed her. I was captivated the moment I saw her.
I see. Well, what happened after that first meeting?
Rana also seemed attracted to me. After that night, we saw each other constantly. Nothing seemed to matter to me when I wasn't with her. It made me indescribably happy to learn she felt the same way. So, just a month after we'd met, we were married.
Please go on, Mr. Arnold.
In the months that followed, I began to see Rana not as the image I had been infatuated with, but as she really was. Vain, selfish, and intensely possessive. She couldn't bear to have me out of her sight. And if I was, when I returned, there would be questions, countless questions. I began to dread seeing her. And then there were the cats. The cat? Yes, she had an insane passion for them.
When Rana and I were at school together, Doctor, she always had a few cats around. She said she couldn't live without them.
The house was always full of cats. She'd sit for hours stroking them, whispering to them, until I thought I'd go mad. Life became a nightmare for me. Nightmare full of cats. And Rana asking questions, endless questions, as to where I'd been and whom I'd seen. Finally, one day I realized I couldn't go on living with her any longer, that our marriage had been a mistake. I decided to tell her so that very evening. May I come in, Rana?
Of course, dear. Good evening, Chris. Darling, why didn't you tell me that you'd had lunch with Mary Walker when I called you at the office this afternoon?
How did you know I had lunch with her?
A friend told me.
Friend? Who was it?
Oh, what is it, Beauty? What are you trying to say?
Rana, put that cat down and answer me. Who was the friend that told you I had lunch with Mary Walker?
You've never met her, darling.
Who is it that you always seem to know what I've been doing, who I've been seeing? It's as though you have people spying on me.
Chris, what a thing to say. Now, please hurry and change, or we'll be late for the Hopkins party.
There's something strange about the way you always know what I've been doing. Sometimes I suspect...
Chris, look out! You stepped on Sabina's tail.
I'm sorry, but I didn't see her.
I've asked you before to be more careful. Oh, poor Sabina. Are you all right now, my beauty?
If there weren't so many cats underfoot, I wouldn't have stepped on them. Why must you keep them around?
Because I love cats. They're beautiful, sacred. Thousands of years ago, my ancestors worshipped cats.
When you speak like that, you almost look like a cat.
And why not? Is there anything in the world more beautiful than a cat? You see? They agree.
Rana, I can't go on like this anymore.
Why, darling, what do you mean?
Our marriage was a mistake. I want a divorce.
Chris, you can't be serious.
Oh, I am, Rana. Dead serious.
I love you, Chris. And I won't give you up. You're mine, darling. And you'll always be. Nothing shall ever separate us.
Would you care for a cocktail, sir?
No, thank you.
Well, even if you won't have one, Mr. Arnold, I will.
Jane. Jane, it's good to see you again. Just let me look at you.
It's good to see you, too, Chris.
You're as lovely as ever, Jane.
Chris, you're not looking well at all. You all right?
I am now. Jane, can't we go someplace and talk? What about the terrace?
All right, Chris.
Here, this door opens onto it.
How is Rana?
Oh, she's fine. Jane, I've made such a mess out of it. I was a fool to mistake infatuation for love. Jane, can you ever forgive me for the way I behaved toward you?
There's nothing to forgive. I must be going now.
Well, Jane, this is a surprise.
Rana.
Really, Jane, the way you've avoided calling on us, I have suspect you're still in love with Chris.
Rana, you have no right.
Please, Chris. I'm afraid I'll have to be leaving. It's getting quite late. Good night.
Good night, Jane.
I hope I didn't interrupt anything by coming out here so unexpectedly, Chris.
Yes, Rana, you did. I was about to tell Jane that I love her and that I always will.
I suppose that's why you asked me for a divorce. You've been secretly seeing her.
Secretly seeing her? Is it possible for me to see anyone or do anything secretly without you knowing about it?
No, you're right. It isn't possible. I know everything you do. So I would forget Jane if I were you.
Rana, how could you possibly want me, knowing how I feel about Jane? You've got to give me a divorce.
I'll never give you a divorce.
Never, do you hear? You're mine, and you always will be.
I can still see her, Doctor. She stood there, hissing at me. Chris, you're mine, and you always will be. Suddenly, I realized that she looked like a cat. An angry cat. Her green eyes, cold and murderous. Her long nails digging into my arms. Her body tense. For a moment, I thought she was going to scratch my eyes out. After that night, I hardly spoke to Rana. I treated her as a stranger.
Darling, you're behaving very childishly, refusing to talk to me. It's been a month now.
Why are you slowing down?
I want to talk to you, Chris, and I can't talk to you while I'm driving.
There's no point in your stopping. We have nothing to say to each other.
Oh, but we do, darling. Chris, we could be so happy together if you want. You know how much I love you. I'd do anything to make you happy. Anything.
Anything? Then you can give me a divorce.
So you're still thinking of her? Hoping I'll give you a divorce so you can marry her? Well, I won't. You hear? I won't.
I think we'd better be moving along.
Chris, you haven't any right to treat me like this. I'm your wife.
Only in the eyes of the law, not in my eyes.
I hate you. I hate you.
You cat! You almost took out my eyes with those claws of yours.
I'll scratch your eyes out before I let any other woman have you.
This will bring you to your senses. Now, slide over. I'll drive.
Very well, Chris.
You think you've beaten me, Chris, but you haven't. Don't think it was weakness on my part because I tried to make up with you this evening.
I know better than that.
In the end, you'll come crawling to me. It may take a year, 2 years, 5 years, but I'll wait.
I'll never come crawling to you.
But you will, Chris. Jane knows I'll never give you your freedom. In time, she'll marry. And when she does, all the heart will be gone out of you. And then you'll be mine.
You have everything planned perfectly, Rana, don't you? But I have one escape from you you've never thought of.
Really? And what is that, Chris?
I can escape through death.
Through death?
Yes, Rana. If I should fail to take that curve ahead, we'd plunge off the side of the mountain.
Chris, you wouldn't.
Why not, Rana? You've shown me there's nothing to live for. This at least is a clean way out.
Chris, you don't mean it.
But I do, Rana. Just watch.
No, Chris. Don't. No!
when I drove the car over the side of the mountain, Doctor, I thought Rana and I were going to our death. But fate decreed otherwise. When I recovered consciousness 48 hours later, in the hospital, I learned it was only Rana who died.
Yes, I recall reading about it in the papers. It was a miracle that you survived.
Yes, for weeks they despaired of saving me. But at the end of 8 months, I walked out of that hospital. It was just a week after I was discharged that I ran into Jane on the street.
Chris. Oh, Chris, it is you.
Jane.
Chris, I heard about your accident just a few days ago when I got back from California.
Jane. You always seem to pop up just when I need you most.
You look so much older. These past months must have been so difficult.
I don't want to look back as fast, Jane, but only for the future. The future I once hoped we'd share. And still. 2 months ago, Doctor, Jane and I became engaged. It was just about that time that I first began to notice that everywhere I went, there always seemed to be a cat following me.
So that's why you were always looking around so nervously all the time.
Tell me, Miss Elliot, did you ever notice that the two of you were being followed by a cat?
Well, I have seen a few cats around, but they didn't mean anything to me.
Oh, but they did to me, Doctor.
Was it always the same cat that followed you?
Oh, no. One day it'd be one cat and another day a different one. Doctor, I know you must think I'm insane. At the time, I felt I was going mad. That is, till that night.
What night, Mr. Arnold?
The night I saw her. It happened in this very room 6 weeks ago. I had great difficulty in falling asleep. And when I did, I had a nightmare. A nightmare in which I was being followed by hundreds of silent cats. Then the silence was broken by the faint crying of one cat. The crying grew louder and louder. Suddenly, I awoke. With my awakening, the cry didn't cease. I lay in the darkness listening, realizing that the cat I'd heard wasn't a part of my nightmare, but was real. Yes, real, living, and in my room. I could feel my heart pounding as I sat up in bed. I looked about my darkened room. Then, suddenly, I saw her. 2 burning green eyes in the darkness. There was no mistaking those eyes. Rana! It is you, Rana. Isn't it? Yes, I'd recognize those green eyes anywhere. So you've come back. Just as I've always thought of you. As a cat. I know why you've come back. Because of Jane. You always said that if you couldn't have me, no one else would. That I was yours and always would be. Well, you're wrong, do you hear? Jane and I are going to be married. Trying to scratch my eyes out. You always said you would before you'd let any other woman have me. Well, we'll see about that. There. Perhaps that'll hold you. Nothing you can do will stop me from marrying her. I know that the cats that were following me, spying on me, were doing so under your orders. You're the queen of the cats. Yes, I should have known. Even when you were in human form, you looked and acted like a cat. You think you're clever, but even if you are the queen of cats, you can't prevent me from marrying Jane. So you think you can? Well, perhaps a bullet between those green eyes of yours is what's needed. I emptied the gun at her, then turned on the light. There was no sign of her. She vanished. All that I found were 6 bullet holes in the wall.
Now, Mr. Arnold, isn't it possible that you only dreamed all that actually you fired your gun in your sleep and the shots themselves awakened you?
I tried to tell myself that, Doctor. But during the nights that followed, I knew it was not a dream. But night after night, she appeared in my room. I'd lie awake, waiting to hear her voice. Then stared at me, burning green eyes, waiting. I knew she'd never leave me alone as long as I intended to marry Jane. Finally, I couldn't stand it any longer, and I went to see Jane. I asked her to postpone our wedding for a time, and without asking any questions, she agreed. Doctor, the night I put off my marriage with Jane was the first night that Rana didn't appear, and the first night in weeks that I was able to sleep.
Chris, why didn't you tell me that night what was troubling you?
I was afraid you wouldn't understand, Jane. That you might think I was mad.
Do you think, Mr. Arnold, that she didn't appear again because you had postponed your marriage to Jane?
I know it. Weeks went by. Weeks in which I was able to sleep soundly without being awakened by her. I came to think that perhaps it had all been part of a horrible nightmare, and that I was over it at last. Then, a week ago, I asked Jane to set the date for our wedding. She did so, and that same day we took out a marriage license.
Doctor, Chris looked so much better that I thought he'd gotten over what was troubling him.
So did I. But the night after we applied for a license, she appeared again, in this very room.
And you've seen her every night ever since?
Yes. She just keeps staring at me with those green eyes. Waiting. And Doctor, I have a feeling something horrible will happen if I attempt to marry Jane.
Do you still have the marriage license?
Why? Yes. Why do you ask?
Mr. Arnold, you've reached a crisis in your life. You're faced with fears that are threatening to overwhelm your sanity. If you want Jane and happiness, you must be prepared to fight.
Fight? What? How, Doctor?
Often when we challenge our fears, we find that they exist only in our imagination. The only way for you to challenge your fears is to go through with your marriage with Jane. Now, tonight.
Tonight?
Yes, I know it's quite late, but a friend of mine who's a judge, I'm sure he'll marry you.
All right, Doctor. Jane, will you marry me? Tonight?
Oh, yes, Chris. Yes.
Sorry to get you up in the middle of the night, Judge, but for reasons I can't explain, it's important that these two be married tonight.
That's quite all right, Doc. Always glad to oblige a friend. Have you got the license and the ring, young man?
Oh, yes, sir. Here's the license. And here's the... What was that?
It's only my cat, Lucifer. Never saw a fellow so nervous. Scat, Lucifer, scat. There, he won't bother us anymore.
Chris, it's all right. He's gone.
What's the matter, son? Don't you like cats?
No, he doesn't. Judge, would you mind getting on with the ceremony?
All right, Doc. Never saw so many nervous people. Now, young man, if you take her right hand. That's it. Now, shall I give the long ceremony or the short one?
Oh, the short one, please.
All right. You, Christopher Arnold, take this woman to be your lawful wedded wife, to love, honor, and cherish, as long as you both shall live.
I do. It's Rana.
What place does that cat come from? Scat!
Please, it's only a black cat. You mustn't pay any attention to
No,
it.
of course not. Now,
It's Rana, I tell you. Look at her eyes.
Why are you so afraid of cats?
I told you she's trying to prevent me from marrying Jane. Well, I'll get rid of her for once and for all.
Chris, what are you doing with that gun? Put it down.
This time I won't miss. No, I missed. She's escaped. She won't get away. No, wherever she's gone. I'll find her. I'll find her and kill her.
Chris, come back. Wait. I'm out of breath.
No, Miss Elliot. He can't be far off. We'll find him.
There's a soul in sight. Doc, you sure he isn't crazy?
Please, Judge.
Well, he sure acted like he was. Pulling out that gun.
Listen.
Doctor, that must be Chris firing that gun.
Yes. Come on. Those shots came from close by.
But, Doc, there's no one in sight.
I think those shots came from that driveway just ahead.
Hurry, please, hurry.
We better take it easy now, Doc. This driveway's in complete darkness.
Yes, you're right.
Can't see a thing. It's so dark. Have you got any matches, Doc?
Yes. Wait a minute. I'll strike one.
Afraid it isn't much of a help. Doc, look. Dead cat.
What?
Yes. He was shot to death.
Look. Here's another one that's been shot to death.
Oh, but neither of them is the black cat.
No. Match is out. Wait a minute. I'll light another one. Come on.
Doc, isn't that somebody lying over there?
Chris!
No, Miss Elliot. You stay with the judge while I look.
All right, Doctor. This would never have happened if I hadn't agreed to marry. I was afraid. So afraid.
Doc, is it Arnold?
Yes. It's him.
Dead, isn't he? You can see it in your face.
Yes. He's dead.
Doc, I don't understand. What happened to him?
He's been clawed to bits, as if by hundreds of cats. His face has been torn to shreds, and his eyes...
This is the mysterious traveler. Did you enjoy our trip? Too bad about Chris Arnold, wasn't it? Seems there just isn't any escape from a jealous woman, particularly when she's the queen of the cats. You know, strangely enough, at Chris Arnold's funeral, just as the coffin was being lowered into the grave, the mourners suddenly noticed a black cat with green eyes sitting on the edge of the grave, quietly licking its paws. That cat simply couldn't be driven off. Now, I recall another case in which two ghosts got together and decided, oh, you have to get off here. I'm sorry. I'm sure we'll meet again. I take this same train every week at the same time.
You have just heard The Mysterious Traveler, a series of dramas of the strange and terrifying. All characters in tonight's story were fictitious, and any resemblance to the names of actual persons was purely coincidental. In tonight's cast were Maurice Tarplin, Carl Weber, Inga Adams, Mitzi Gould, John Seymour, and Brad Barker. Original music was played by Paul Taubman. The Mysterious Traveler is written, produced, and directed by Robert Andrew Arthur and David Kogan. Listen next week to a tale titled
0 Hour.
Another strange and suspenseful tale of the mysterious traveler. This program came to you from New York. Another program of tense and dramatic action will follow in just a minute. Stay tuned to the station for Official Detective. Carl Caruso speaking. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
From Hollywood, the CBS Radio Workshop.
Scat! The world's divided into two kinds of people, ailurophobes and ailurophiles, cat haters and cat lovers. There's no in-between. The man is yet to be born who can take cats or leave them alone. Either you love them or you hate them. I hate them. And even if you're a sweet old lady who lives all alone with 13 pussies, I'm sure you won't think too ill of me when you hear what the king of the cats did to me. Scat, you black fiend!
The CBS Radio Workshop, dedicated to man's imagination, the theater of the mind, presents The King of the Cats by Stephen Vincent Benet, adapted for radio and directed and produced in Hollywood by William N. Robeson.
If I hadn't been so young, I suppose I could have taken it in stride. Of course, I didn't think I was young. I was 2 years out of Yale, and I thought I knew all the answers. Certainly, I knew I was in love. They say the most beautiful women in the world are Eurasian, and they're right. Vivranka's skin was like golden velvet, her long straight hair ebony in the moonlight, and her eyes blue as a field of larkspur, fathomless as the center of heaven. Her mother had been an American missionary, her father Siamese, and undoubtedly a prince, my Aunt Emily insisted. Ordinarily, Aunt Emily wouldn't have approved of Vivranka, but this was the year that the king and I was a sellout at the St. James Theater, so a hostess who could decorate her dinner table with a breathlessly beautiful Siamese princess was definitely a hostess with a mostess. At least Aunt Emily always addressed her as princess, and Vivranka always replied to the title.
My dear princess, how sweet of you to drop in. And tell me how nice you would get away from the office early. Lemon or cream, princess?
Neither, Mrs. Culverin. And no sugar.
Oh, of course, my dear. How stupid of me to forget. Here you are.
Thank you.
Tommy?
I'll get myself a highball, if you don't mind.
No, dear, go right ahead. I believe you know everyone, Princess. Mrs. Dandridge.
Yes, of
Mrs.
course.
Stanford. Professor Fairweather.
Yes, indeed.
Mrs. Dandridge has been telling us about the most fascinating man, my dear. A symphony conductor with a tail.
A tail? How interesting.
I still can't believe it.
I saw it myself, twice. First in Paris, and then again at the Teatro Royale in Rome. He conducted the Beethoven Pastoral, and, my dear, you've never heard such effects from an orchestra. You see, he conducted with it.
With his tail? Oh, no.
Oh, yes. And such a charming person. So urbane, so utterly fascinating.
I should imagine. I would love to meet him.
And you shall, my dear. I'll see to it when he arrives.
Oh, he's coming over?
Yes. Yes, the new symphony people have invited him to be guest conductor for 3 concerts. He'll be very busy, of course, but he's promised to give me what time he can spare.
Oh, that's sweet of you, dear, but you mustn't wear yourself out. The rest of us must do our part, too. I'll be only too glad to help entertain him.
Oh, now, that won't be necessary. I'm just going to give Monsieur Thibault... Sweet name, isn't it? Felix Thibault. I'm just going to show him the simplest of times. A little reception for 100 or so after his first concert. Perhaps he hates large mixed parties on account of his little idiosyncrasy. It makes him feel a trifle shy of strangers.
I should think it would, to say nothing of his friends and acquaintances. Vivranka, my dear, how would you like to go out night-clubbing with a jerk with a tail?
It might be interesting.
Huh?
He is not a jerk, Tommy. He is one of the finest conductors in Europe.
Sounds to me like he's the smartest showman since P.T. Barnum. What do you think, Professor?
Well, I shall be interested to see this, Monsieur Thibault, myself. In the Middle Ages, there was a widespread belief in homo caudatus, or men with tails, but I know of no authenticated case. Of course, we all have tails, in a manner of speaking.
What?
Oh, vestigial, of course. But the last few vertebrae of anyone's spine, the coccyx, is the evidence of a concealed and rudimentary tail. I dare say it might be possible in an extraordinary case that a throwback, a reversion to type.
How fascinating! I never realized that Well, I think it'd be fun to get together a box for the first concert, all of us.
Oh, well, I'm afraid I shall have my own box party. But, of course, you'll come on to the reception later at my place.
Why, thank you, my dear. Then there'll be the professor and the princess and Tommy.
Count us out, Aunt Emily. When Vivranka and I want to see freaks, we'll go to the circus.
I shall be very pleased to attend the concert, Mrs. Culverin.
Splendid, my dear.
But Vivranka...
Is there anyone you'd like me to ask to replace Tommy?
But Aunt Emily...
It doesn't make any difference. I'm only interested in meeting this wonderful Monsieur Félix Thibault.
But Vivranka... I went to the concert. What else could I do? We took our seats in the box as the orchestra took theirs on stage and began their aimless squeakings and tootings, those caterwaulings which I must confess make about as much sense to me as the music that follows. Aunt Emily was in a dither of fluttery expectation. Professor Fairweather had lost much of his scientific detachment, and Vivranka, gorgeous Vivranka, sat beside me silent, but so tense I could almost feel her breathless expectation, and I didn't like it at all. And then Monsieur Thibault walked on stage, a lithe, dark-haired man with piercing eyes like a black panther, his head weaving the way the big cats do when they're behind bars. It was true. They hadn't lied. From beneath the tails of his dress coat curled a third, a living tail, which he carried nonchalantly draped over his wrist. He acknowledged the presence of the audience with a regal bow. And then that incredible tail twined with dainty carelessness around a black baton on the podium. While he remained facing the audience, the tail rapped 3 times upon the podium for the orchestra's attention, and then raised for the downbeat. At this horrible moment, I glanced at Vivranka. Her whole body was rigid as steel, and the blue flowers of her eyes were bent upon Monsieur Thibault in terrible concentration. She took my hand in hers, and her long red fingernails felt like a claw as the hideous tail of that monster on stage lashed into the downbeat of Night on Bald Mountain. That's the way it went through the Bach Passacaglia, through the Afternoon of a Faun, through the Beethoven Ninth. New York music lovers had never heard anything like it before, and New York music lovers never behaved quite like this before. As Monsieur Thibault finally glided from the stage after his 15th bow, the president of the Wednesday Sonata Club had to be forcibly restrained by her husband from flinging her $90,000 string of pearls after the maestro in an excess of aesthetic appreciation. And as we shouldered our way through the hysterical mob toward the waiting limousines, I distinctly heard Ludwig Willems, conductor of the mid-century Philharmonic, say to Dr. Friedrich Laskar, the great plastic surgeon.
But it must be possible, Doctor. Think of the miracles they have accomplished in Denmark. There's $10,000 in it for you, Doctor, if only you can find a way to graft the tail onto me.
But through all the hysteria, Vivranka remained silent, self-possessed, her azure eyes fathomless as the center of heaven. She was silent as we drove to Mrs. Dandridge's party in Aunt Emily's limousine. But this was not too remarkable, because Aunt Emily never stopped raving about Monsieur Thibault.
But aside from the heavenly music, my dears, the man himself, such elegance, such poise, such... I tell you, Tommy, if your Uncle Henry weren't still around, and I was a few years younger, well, tail and all.
Our hostess, Mrs. Dandridge, looked like the cat who had swallowed the canary, having trapped the social lion of the season, if I may be permitted to scramble a metaphor. Let Aunt Emily have her Siamese princess. Dolly Dandridge had the world's greatest conductor, complete with tail.
And this, dear Monsieur Thibault, is my dearest friend. Emily, may I present Monsieur Thibault? Monsieur Thibault, Mrs. Henry Culverine.
Enchanté, Madame Culverine.
Oh, Monsieur Thibault, it is an honor to meet you. I am overcome.
Yes, thank you much, Madame.
I feel I should be on bended knee.
It is not necessary.
Oh, I should kiss your hand.
You are too kind, no?
Oh, I must.
No, please, Madame.
He stopped trying to stop Aunt Emily from making a fool of herself. He had seen Vivranka. The end of his tail, just the very end, twitched turgidly, and he seemed to be at her side in a bound rather than a step. It was foolish and superfluous for Mrs. Dandridge to do the honors.
Princess, may I present Monsieur Thibault? Monsieur, Princess Vivranka.
Maestro.
Princess.
They exchanged no more words. Monsieur Thibault presented his arm to the princess. She linked hers in his, and his infernal tail switched from his right arm to his left to come to rest across Vivranka's wrist. Thus, like royalty, they made their way across the room, the guests parting to make a path for their regal progress.
Now, Tommy, you mustn't take it so hard. After all, the princess is an awfully sweet child, but she isn't exactly our kind.
And I suppose she's his.
She seems to be. Look at them. So darlingly foreign, both of them.
Yeah, aren't they? Out of this world. And they were. I didn't realize it until I'd said it. They were somehow out of this world. They didn't walk across the room. They glided. The tail-coated maestro with his third tail so insidiously ubiquitous, and the princess's hips swaying in the golden-threaded silken sheath of her skirt. A bas-relief from Angkor Wat, suddenly breathing life. She never left his side for the rest of the evening. I didn't like it. I didn't like it a bit. But there was nothing I could do about it. After all, one can't very well make a scene, especially with a guest of honor. But Professor Fairweather, detached man of science, was bound by no such restrictive codes.
Extraordinary. Simply extraordinary.
I think it stinks.
What? How's that, Tommy? What stinks?
The way Vivranka's acting.
Oh, nothing extraordinary about that. Her behavior's quite normal, I should say. It's the tail that's extraordinary.
Yeah. Where'd he be without it?
Where indeed, and what?
Just another foreigner with a kiss-your-hand, madame accent. They're a dime a dozen.
Yes, the tailless ones. The princess has joined the other ladies for a moment. It's my opportunity.
For what?
A word with Monsieur Thibault.
I'd like several words with him.
Monsieur Thibault. Monsieur Thibault.
Professor Fairweather.
Yes. May I speak to you a moment?
But of course.
You know Tommy Calvin, I believe?
I don't think I've had the pleasure. You are the lovely Mrs. Calverine's son?
No, her nephew.
How interesting.
And Princess Vivranka's friend. We're practically engaged.
Congratulations.
I thought you ought to know.
Indeed, yes. I am honored by your confidence. Now, Professor.
Yes, Monsieur Thibault, I speak to you as a man of science.
Yes?
A true specimen of Homo caudatus has been unknown to modern science until now.
Homo caudatus?
Yes, a man with a tail.
What?
Come now, Professor, it's nothing to be sensitive about. My interest is purely impersonal.
Your interest?
Yes, purely scientific. It wouldn't take much of your time, a morning or an afternoon, perhaps, no more.
What would not take much time?
An examination and measurements, x-rays and
An
so
examination? Measurements of what?
Your tail.
Dammar for the blocco can
Monsieur Thibault,
Monsieur Thibault's tail lashed stingingly across the professor's face, cutting off his last words. Then the conductor turned and stalked out of the room, growling and spitting in his anger. Without even bothering to retrieve his hat and coat, he kept right on through the foyer and on out into the chilly night.
Oh, dear.
Wonderful, Professor. Wonderful. I can't thank you enough.
Oh, for what, Tommy?
For getting rid of him.
But I wasn't trying to get rid of him.
I know, but you did. And that's all that counts. Only he didn't. Aunt Emily realized at once that Mrs. Dandridge had lost her catch. for certainly Monsieur Thibault would never again enter the house where he had been insulted. And Aunt Emily moved with the speed of an aggressor nation. Within 3 days, Monsieur Thibault had accepted her invitation to be a house guest and had moved in bag and baggage. Now there was no escaping my tailed nemesis. And now it took no urging upon Vivranka to visit Aunt Emily. She wanted to be there. She preferred being there to any entertainment I could offer her. But there was one ray of hope. Thibault was committed to a long concert tour all the way to the coast, and with him out of the way, I felt sure I could mend the fences he had torn down. The day before the farewell dinner Aunt Emily was giving him, I dropped by after work to find my aunt in more than her usual dither.
Oh, Tommy, isn't it just too exciting?
I don't know, Aunt Emily, until I find out what it is.
Why, Monsieur Thibault and the princess, of course.
What about them?
They're in love.
This scarcely strikes me as news.
And they're going to be married.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes, I'm going to make the announcement at the dinner party tomorrow night.
Aunt Emily, how can you do this to me?
Well, I didn't do it to you. Anyway, you must face this like a man. You know, you must find some nice homey girl like that Gretchen Woolwine from Chicago. You used to like her.
I was younger than Aunt Emily, and that was before I knew Vivranka.
Well, my dear, I'm afraid you've lost your princess. C'est la vie, c'est l'amour, as I always say.
Where is Vivranka? Is she here?
Oh, my, yes, she's in the library with Monsieur Thibault.
Naturally.
Now, don't disturb them, dear. I'm sure they want to be alone.
Naturally. The hard knot in the pit of my stomach grew and grew. Finally, when Aunt Emily chattered off to change for dinner, I slipped down the hall toward the library. I couldn't hear voices, and the room was dark. I was about to flick on the light switch when I heard a strange sound. And then I saw them silhouetted in the dying light of the fire. Thibault was seated in a chair, and Vivranka crouched on a stool at his side, while his hand softly, smoothly stroked her dark hair. And all I could think of was black cat and Siamese kitten. And then I realized what the sound was. They weren't talking to each other. No, they were purring to each other. But, Professor Fairweather, what am I going to do?
Now, Tommy, you must get hold of yourself. This whole thing has disturbed you to the point of hallucination.
Nonsense, Professor. I heard them. I tell you, I heard them purring.
Fantasy, sheer fantasy. Just because the man does have a tail, you're imagining...
I'm positive he's a cat.
And you cannot stand the thought of Vivranka marrying...
I can't stand the thought of her marrying anyone. But a cat? It's monstrous. What am I going to do, Professor?
Well, you might have the SPCA pick him up.
Oh, please, Professor.
Oh, I'm sorry, Tommy. I know you're serious. Wait a minute. I just thought of something. Oh, no, it's too ridiculous.
What? Tell me, what?
Oh, Tommy, you're a bad influence. You're leading my reason from the narrow path of scientific method to the doubtful fields of the supernatural.
What are you talking about?
Well, I was thinking of a story I read once. Oh, it's turned up in one form or another in the folklore of every land on earth, I suppose. It has to do with a traveler who saw within a ruined abbey a procession of cats lowering into a grave a little coffin with a tiny crown on it. Oh, filled with horror, the traveler hastened away from the place, and when he reached his destination, he couldn't help telling his host of the strange ritual he'd seen. Well, scarcely had he finished when the host's cat, who'd been lying in front of the fire, leapt to its feet and cried out, "Then I am king of the cats," and disappeared in a flash up the chimney.
So?
Well, proceeding upon your premise that Monsieur Thibault is a cat, you will grant that he's a very extraordinary cat, a cat who could, presumably, one day be king of the cats?
Of course. Of course. Yes, it might work. I'll pull it on him tomorrow night at Aunt Emily's dinner party. Only...
Only what?
Well, he won't buy that ruined abbey part.
Well, then use your imagination. Make it Central Park.
Sure, why not? Bring the story up to date. A funny thing happened today on my way up from the office. Aunt Emily outdid herself. Her dinner table was a poem of spring flowers, gold plate, the purest white linen, the candles fluttering ever so little in the warm night breeze that came through the open French doors. Time and again, through the first 3 courses, I tried to get into the stream of conversation. But when Aunt Emily's on, this is practically impossible. Thibaut and Vivronka, seated on either side of her, were oblivious of everything. They ate little and never took their eyes off each other. Finally, the plates were being taken away, and I knew Aunt Emily was going to make her announcement during the dessert course. I just had to get my 2 cents worth in first.
You'll never forget that summer. Eden Rock was never gayer. And after the Duke and the Duchess arrived, well...
A funny thing happened on my way up from the office this evening.
I was about to tell...
A funny thing happened on my way up from the office this evening. I was taking a shortcut across Central Park when I came upon the darndest thing. In a little clump of bushes, I saw a procession of cats. 6 or 8 of them. And they were carrying a little coffin toward a tiny open grave. And on the coffin was an exquisite little golden crown. Now, isn't that the strangest thing? Silence. The guests looked at me as though I were quite mad. That is, all except Thibaut and Vivronka. Thibaut looked at me, the end of his tail flicking above the edge of the table, and Vivronka looked at Thibaut, the way she had that night at the concert, tense, breathless, her eyes blue flame. At last, Aunt Emily spoke.
Well, Tommy, are you quite finished?
Yes, Aunt Emily, that's all I had to say.
I should hope so. Well, that summer, when the Duke and Duchess
Excuse
came
me,
down...
Mrs. Calverine.
Oh, of course, Maestro.
Tommy, you are quite positive of what you saw this evening?
Oh, yes. Yes, you don't go around making up things like that.
No, of course not. Yet one must be sure of the details. Now, there was a crown on the coffin, you say?
That's right.
A golden crown?
Yes.
With tiny pearls on it?
That's right.
You're absolutely sure?
Absolutely.
Then I am king of the cats!
He leapt to his feet from his chair to the table and in one bound disappeared through the open French window. And an instant later, Vivronka followed. As she disappeared from the balcony to the alley below, I caught just a glimpse of something protruding beneath her silken sheath skirt. It was a black-tipped, golden tail. And that's why I have become an ailurophobe, a cat hater. So's my wife, Gretchen. We were married shortly afterwards. But then Gretchen never did like cats in the first place, especially Siamese cats.
From Hollywood, the CBS Radio Workshop has presented The King of the Cats by Stephen Vincent Benet, with Byron Kane as Tommy, music arranged and conducted by Amerigo Marino. Included in the cast were Jeanette Nolan, Helen Klebe, Peggy Weber, Joe Kearns, and Jay Novello. Next week, from New York, the workshop will present a psychological study of the do-it-yourself movement, The Day the Roof Fell In, by Charles S. Monroe. Suspense, radio's outstanding theater of thrills, follows over most of these stations with the chilling story of the man who stole the Bible. For a half hour of breathless terror, stay tuned to this frequency. You won't regret it.
The CBS Radio Mystery Theater presents... Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. I don't know if you've ever stopped to think about it, but of all the creatures in the animal kingdom, only man, and man alone, will murder his mate simply because she no longer pleases him. True, certain of our friends in fur, fin, or feather will indulge in desertion or even divorce. But murder? For that, you must have the highest degree of culture and civilization. For that, you have to be human.
I must know what I can do, Doctor, to keep myself from killing my wife.
Why do you want to kill her?
I don't want to kill her.
Well, then, what makes you think you're going to?
I've been told I'm going to do it.
By whom?
I've been told unmistakably and in no uncertain terms. And that's what scares me.
But who told you?
Pluto.
Who's Pluto?
A cat.
A cat told you?
Yes. My wife's cat.
Our mystery drama, The Black Cat, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Sam Dan and stars Norman Rose. It is sponsored in part by Anheuser-Busch Incorporated, brewers of Budweiser, and by the Kellogg Company, makers of Kellogg's Special K cereal. I'll be back shortly with Act One.
Can you really tell the future by reading my palm, Madame Xanadu?
Have faith, and let me have your left hand. Ah, yes, I see very clearly.
What do you see, Madame Xanadu? Tell me what you see.
You will meet a tall, good-looking man.
I will?
Yes, a tall, good-looking man who will make you very happy.
Oh.
He is from the Internal Revenue Service.
The Internal Revenue Service?
Yes, and he has many, many free publications for you, ranging from business expenses and child care to sick pay and retirement income. One of those publications may solve your tax problem and make you very happy.
Oh, for heaven's sake. Here, what do you see in my other palm?
It says here you can get any of those free publications at your IRS district office.
You know, when tax time rolls around, I need help. That's why I was really glad to hear about CIT's income tax service. It's beautiful. For just a $5 minimum charge, they take care of all the headaches connected with taxes. CIT's tax service is fast, computerized, and accurate, and they'll figure out your biggest tax savings under the law. Not only that, if you need cash, you can check out a CIT Unilone at the same time. CIT's income tax service. Why not go see them today?
'Cause whenever you need money, come in or telephone. Ask a man at CIT for a Unilone.
CIT makes money happen. Takes care of your taxes, too.
Consider the act of murder. Popular opinion has it the majority of killers are ruthless, cold-blooded, devoid of pity. But the facts tell a different tale. Statistics reveal most murderers are neither brutal nor savage. The record shows you don't have to be a devil or a demon or even a criminal. Experience teaches a killer could be any one of us. Given the time, the place, the provocation, it could be you. It could be I. And it could even be Philip Sterling.
Sylvia says you want to see me, Mr. Fenris.
That's right, Phil.
Well?
I have a simple statement to make. A brief 13-word announcement.
I had no idea you measured out your words.
They should add up to 13. It happens to be an unlucky statement as far as you're concerned.
Suppose you end the suspense, Mr. Fenris. What is this historic pronouncement,
If you marry my daughter, I will cut her off without a cent.
Yes, it does add up to 13 words.
And you'd better believe him.
Well, then I have no choice. I'll break the engagement. I certainly can't marry Sylvia if she has no money.
Why, you unprincipled scoundrel.
Mr. Fenris, while I may be a scoundrel, I do have principles.
You admit you want to marry Sylvia for her money?
What other reason could I possibly have?
Well, of all the
don't sputter at me, Mr. Fenris. After all, it's your fault.
What, my fault?
Without question. Had you been a better father, more loving, more attentive, you would have raised a more attractive daughter.
Well, I'll have you thrown out of here.
Consider Sylvia calmly, objectively. She's immature. She's naive. She's hopelessly romantic. She's careless. That's my word. Others would say sloppy about her weight, about her appearance. It's your fault. Your fault, all of it.
I'll have you know I gave my daughter everything.
You gave her only what money could buy. And in addition to everything else, she has that damn black cat, that Pluto, and she pretends she can talk with it.
But she's kind. She's gentle.
Of course. Otherwise, she'd be unbearable.
Why am I even discussing this? Get out of here.
Face the facts. You're 75 years old.
70.
How much longer can you live? 10, 15 years? With Sylvia, she'll still be under 40. And the money, all of it hers, to squander as she sees fit. And you know she'll be the natural target of every sharp-shooting fortune hunter.
I told you to get out.
You say that one more time, and I will. Oh, be practical, Mr. Fenris. I'm the best hope you've got. Because all I want to do with her money, your money, is enjoy it. I'm not burning to build empires. I only want to live comfortably. And on your money, I can. And, well, I even happen to like Sylvia. Just enough to put up with her.
I think you must be the devil himself.
Well, better the devil you know than the devil you might get. Oh, it's ironic, isn't it? 2 minutes ago, you were scared stiff I'd marry Sylvia. Now you're absolutely petrified I won't.
Daddy? Oh, please. Pluto and I simply couldn't wait any longer. Daddy, you do approve of Phil. You do, don't you?
Sylvia, I have a 4-word statement to make. Bless you, my children.
Hey. Who set that thing?
Good morning, Phil, darling. I did.
You did? What for?
We have to be up and about.
At 5:45 in the morning?
Oh, I intend to make your breakfast.
I never ate breakfast.
Oh, well, you should. You should. Gets the day off to a glorious start.
Well, it's not as if I'll be swinging a pick and shovel.
Well, maybe you should. Oh, Pluto's up. Would you get out of bed, Phil, darling, and let him in?
Yes, dear.
Oh, isn't he just the sweetest thing in the world?
Yes, he sure is.
Now, what were we talking about?
Picks and shovels and hearty breakfasts. A combination guaranteed to make me ill.
Phil, you don't know a thing about the construction business.
I never claimed I did. I was honest with your father.
But then why did you accept a job with a plush office and a secretary?
Because I honestly intend to learn the business.
Then that's why you should walk into Daddy's office and say, Sir, the only way to learn this business is from the ground up.
Well,
Well, you know I'm right. And besides, Pluto thinks it's a splendid idea.
Pluto thinks?
Oh, of course he does, don't you, Pluto? Matter of fact, Pluto and I discussed it last night.
Sylvia.
Why can't you believe Pluto and I talk together?
Because to talk means to exchange words, and Pluto cannot.
Oh, no, dear. To talk together means to exchange thoughts. And that's what we do, Pluto and I.
How?
Well, you look Pluto in the eye, and then you beam your thoughts at him, and he just beams his thoughts back at you. That's talking, that's communicating, isn't it?
Well...
I looked into Pluto's eyes, and he looked into mine, and he just beamed that idea about the way you could learn Dad's business right into my head. So, don't you see? You have Pluto to thank for it.
Yeah. Thanks, Pluto. All my life, I hated work. Put in an August day on a road-building crew under a relentless sun that beats down. The heat shimmers off that concrete at about 115 degrees, and you will know what punishment is.
does it hurt?
Everywhere.
Well, a little gentle massage will ease those aches.
No, nothing. Nothing will ever relieve these pains.
Pluto says you'll get used to it.
Yeah, well, you just tell Pluto for me that I will never get used to it.
You will. Let Pluto tell you himself. Will you tell him, Pluto, dear?
Oh, come on, Sylvia.
You say that you won't get used to that kind of work. You just beam that thought into Pluto's eyes.
Sylvia, my back hurts. I'm in no mood
will give you inspiration and courage. You just look into Pluto's eyes. Come on, Pluto. Yep, up on the bed, jump. That's it. Now, look into Phil's eyes. Don't you feel Pluto's thoughts coming into your mind?
I don't know what color a cat's eye is supposed to be. But suddenly I was staring into a kaleidoscope of brilliant hues. Flaming reds, freezing greens, burning yellows, icy blues, all of them shifting, twisting, trying to form into shapes. And there was this terribly taut feeling of tension, as if the entire kaleidoscope were trying to dissolve into a scene. And finally, the way a bubble bursts, all the colors blended into that one icy blue. That icy blue became two of the coldest, frostiest eyes I'd ever seen in my life. The eyes of a sharp-faced man in a black robe, and he was talking to me.
Philip Frederick Sterling, have you anything to say before the sentence of this court is passed upon you?
I didn't do it. I swear I didn't. I couldn't kill anyone. I'm not made that way. You must believe me. I'm not a killer.
You shall be in prison at the state penitentiary.
No, you can't do it. I'm innocent.
Until the 3rd day of April.
No,
at
no,
shall be.
What did you do? What did you do to Pluto?
Huh? I didn't do anything to Pluto.
He saw something in your eyes.
Oh, what could he have seen?
The future.
The future?
Yes. He saw the future, and it frightened him. Oh, he's terrified. And so are you.
Me? What are you talking about? I'm not.
Why are you shaking all over?
Who's?
You are. Phil. What did you see in Pluto's eyes?
Nothing.
But Phil...
I said I saw nothing. I could say that to her, Doctor, but not to myself, because I had seen something. A courtroom, a judge, a jury, a defendant, and of course that defendant was me.
Go on, Mr. Sterling.
I wasn't imagining this, Doctor. I looked into the eyes of that cat, and I saw...
Yes, you saw that you were being convicted of murder and sentenced by a judge.
You don't think I'm crazy?
Crazy has many connotations. Whether or not you're crazy, as you put it, is irrelevant here.
But why should I see such a scene?
I think you know why.
Oh, I don't.
I say you do.
Please, Doctor, tell me why.
It's because you want to kill your wife.
That's ridiculous.
No, it's true.
Well, why would I want to kill my wife?
Why did you marry her?
For her money.
So far, you haven't been able to spend 1 cent of her money.
Oh, I'm willing to wait.
And work on a road gang?
What do you suggest?
If I were you, I would leave her.
Why?
You made a bad bargain. You thought you'd fall in soft. It isn't happening. You're beginning to resent her. Already the thought of murder is rattling around in your subconscious.
Now, look, the old man is worth millions. She gets all of it. Oh, no, I can't walk out on that.
Well, then reconcile yourself to the road gang.
I have to, I will.
Oh, darling, reach down and pat Pluto's head.
Ah.
He's forgiven you.
For what?
For scaring him the other day.
Oh, poor Pluto. Come here, boy.
Now you see how he likes you?
Well, I like him, too. We're pals, aren't we, Pluto?
Do you think you could talk to each other again?
Well, sure. How are things, Pluto, baby?
No, I mean really talk. Look into his eyes.
Oh, that.
Look into them, Phil. Maybe Pluto has something to tell you.
Well, okay.
Talk to Phil, Pluto. Talk to him.
Once again, I looked into Pluto's eyes. Deep into his eyes. Once again, the colors surged and swirled. Reds, greens, blues, yellows. Boiling, burning. And suddenly, all the roiling motion stopped. As if it were frozen. And the icy blue predominated. And once again, I was staring into those two icy blue eyes. The eyes that belonged to the sharp-faced man in the jet-black robe.
In all my years on the bench, I've never encountered murder so foul.
I didn't do it.
I must warn the prisoner. If he insists on interrupting...
I didn't do it.
The fiendishness of this act...
I couldn't do it.
Only a month...
No!
As the poet said, I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. He might have added, I am the ruler of my mind. It's an interesting project Phil Sterling has set up for himself. Talk out the bad, talk in the good. Drive murder out of his brain and coax love into his heart. If such a thing can be done, it will happen when I return shortly with Act 2.
Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis.
Occasional acid indigestion and heartburn can be more than just acid alone. Often there's trapped gas, too. That's what we call gasid indigestion. Digel is made for gasid indigestion because Digel is different. It does more. Digel reduces excess acid while its patented simethicone gets rid of trapped gas fast. Use only as directed. Digel for gasid indigestion. No plain antacid can do what Digel can.
Of all the leading laxatives, only one, Phenamine, is a gentle chewing gum laxative, and for a very good reason. It's pleasant to take. Phenamine goes into your system gradually, little by little, and after Phenamine has entered your system, it begins to work gently, predictably, to relieve occasional irregularity. Phenamine, the gentle chewing gum laxative. Like all medicines, take only as directed.
If, as they say, you can see the entire universe in a single drop of water, why is it unreasonable to suppose that Philip Sterling can see the future in the eyes of a cat? Phil is not only convinced he can see his future, he is also certain he can change it. For the better, naturally.
Sylvia, call Pluto in here.
Oh, darling, he's very frightened.
Call him in.
Well, I'm not sure that I should.
I need him.
You what?
Sylvia, you're the one who insisted on having the word obey in the marriage ceremony. Call Pluto in here.
Pluto. Pluto. It's all right, baby.
Yes. Here, Pluto.
Up on Phil's lap. Up. That's it.
Yes. I want to look into his eyes.
Oh, I don't think it's wise.
Well, I have my reasons.
All right. Pluto, Phil wants to talk to you. Pluto, talk to Phil.
Once again, I looked into Pluto's eyes, and I saw nothing. Absolutely nothing at all. What do you say to that, Dr. Myers? Murder? If it was ever in there, I drove it out of my mind. I drove all thoughts of murder out of my mind.
Look, Pluto's smiling.
Of course.
And you. You're smiling, too.
I'm smiling because I love you.
Oh, Phil, what's got into you lately?
Oh, nothing. Nothing at all.
Keep to your left. Keep to your left. Keep to your left. Come on. There's plenty of room. Come on, keep moving.
Oh, my God, it can't be, but it is. Gwen, look.
It's Phil.
Phil, baby, is this for real?
Phil, darling.
Oh, wait till the gang hears about this.
Oh, hi, Gwenny. Bruce.
Phil, darling, I never knew you had such muscle.
What happened, Phil? Did your father-in-law lose all his money? Look, you're holding up traffic.
Is this what marriage has to do?
I'll explain it some other time. Get moving. Get moving, or I'll catch it from my foreman.
Everything go all right today?
Oh, sure.
You haven't said a word all during dinner.
Well, I'm just tired.
Well, I know you're not used to hard work, but you'll see. You'll find it so rewarding.
Oh, sure.
I have a surprise for you. Aren't you going to ask me what it is?
Okay.
It's Dad's wedding gift. You know what he wants to give us? A house.
A house?
A house of our very own. He wants to give us the house on Rogers Cove.
The big one?
Yep, the big one with the boat landing, the tennis court.
Well, that is a gift.
I turned it down.
You what?
I turned it down.
But Sylvia, why?
Because we can't afford it.
We can't afford it.
Not on your salary. You don't know how hard I had to work to restrain my father.
From doing what?
Well, he wants to give us everything right away. Now, think of that, what it would do to you. It would absolutely rob you of your initiative.
Sylvia, we shouldn't insult your father by,
All in good time, darling. Our first home should be a modest ranch house, or would you prefer a split level? In a development with other young couples like ourselves.
But, darling...
Now, Phil, I had a long talk about it with Pluto.
With Pluto?
He'll show you the wisdom of it. Pluto, go to Phil.
No, wait a minute. Wait a minute, Sylvia. Sylvia, I must tell you, I love you.
Of course you do.
I love you. My only desire is to protect you, to keep you from harm.
Now, Pluto, Phil wants to talk with you.
Once again, I looked into those eyes. Once again, the whirl of almost blinding colors. But this time, something was different. In the struggle among the blues, the yellows, the greens, and the reds, the bright crimson reds, they were winning out. Everything was red. Flowing red. Blood red. Red blood on a pale white face. Blood on Sylvia's face.
Phil, please. Don't hit me. Oh, Phil, please.
I told you. I warned you.
Phil, no.
You ruined my life. All my friends laugh at me.
I love you, Phil. Oh, please don't hit me again.
Get up. I'm not through.
Oh.
Get up. Sylvia.
honestly, you have the most violent conversations with Pluto. Oh, no, Pluto. Everything's all right. Phil, what were you and Pluto talking about?
Nothing. Nothing at all.
Where are you going?
Out.
Oh, I'll come with you.
No.
Oh.
Sylvia, can't you understand? Sometimes a man just wants to be by himself, that's
Oh,
all.
of course, darling, I understand. We understand, don't we, Pluto? Yes.
You want to go back to the party?
Maybe later. It's much cozier here.
I must say, absence does make the heart grow fonder.
Oh, I missed you, Gwenny.
Oh, Phil, how do you stand it?
Oh, I have fantastic powers of endurance. That is, I hope I do.
You know, what with her talking to that cat and everything else, maybe you could get her committed to, you know, an asylum. After all, she is crazy.
Oh, no. Only poor people are crazy. Rich people are eccentric.
Phil, I'm worried about you.
Sure, don't be. I will be fabulously wealthy one day.
Is that all there is to it?
That's all there ever was for me.
I don't like what it's doing to you.
Oh, come on, Gwen. What's it doing to me?
Well, you're not the same. You were always so happy-go-lucky.
Well, that might have been just a pose.
No, there's something new inside of you.
Really? What?
Kind of violence.
Violence? I'm allergic to violence.
You think so?
You know what I always say. I'm a lover, not a fighter. Violence? Why, I can't even...
Don't protest so much, Phil. It shows.
How?
When we ran into you on the road, Bruce and I, we started to kid you. You turned livid.
I don't remember.
You were trembling with rage.
That's your imagination.
You tried to hide it.
Well, maybe you're right. There are times when I could just...
When you could just what?
Kill her. You know, it scares me. I never felt that way before. About anybody. If I stay with her, I know that I'll kill her. And then... Then, what good is the money?
Ah, that's delicious.
Have another helping, Dad.
You know, Phil, she used to break the heart of every chef I'd hire. These fellas all had international reputations, but she'd just walk into the kitchen and whip up a little dish and put them all to shame.
Daddy, the preparation of food is a personal, intimate thing. Oh, we shouldn't hire strangers to do it. Don't you agree, Phil?
I've never seen Phil so quiet.
That's right. Darling, both you and Pluto haven't said a word all evening.
Well, I don't know about Pluto, but I am preparing a statement.
Oh, that sounds serious.
It's a very important statement.
Now, that's a coincidence. I, too, have a statement. May I?
Of course.
Phil, you've absolutely exceeded all my expectations. You've been an excellent husband to Sylvia. You've been conscientious on the job. And so, therefore, I have a 7-word statement. Odd that it should add up to 7 because it's a lucky statement, and, well, here it is. I have included you in my will.
Oh, Daddy. Oh, that's wonderful. Isn't it wonderful, Pluto?
I know now, Phil, that you'll succeed in the business. One day, it'll all be yours.
Oh, Phil, did you hear that?
Oh, yes. Yes, I heard it.
Well, now that Daddy has made his statement, what was yours?
What was mine? I was ready to say 4 simple words. I want a divorce. However, at that moment, it seemed like a stupid thing to do. I happened to glance at Pluto. He was looking up at me. His eyes were wide, and I could see the colors swirling again. But this time, the yellows, the bright flaming yellows, overwhelmed the others. And then the yellow turned softer and began to gleam like gold. Solid gold. Oh, what a fool I would be to throw away a chance to own one of the largest construction companies in America. I looked at Sylvia. I would simply have to love her. That's all. Love her so earnestly, so devotedly that I wouldn't have the inclination to kill her. Huh. The problem was solved.
Aren't you going to make your statement, Phil?
Well, as it turns out, I really don't have one.
You're playing a dangerous game. All your instincts tell you to get out. But suddenly, the stakes are raised to dizzying heights. What do you do? Phil Sterling has decided to stand pat. But how strong is his hand? Losers and winners in this game of life and death will be determined when I return shortly with Act 3.
And now another tale of the ball and chain. At Kellogg's Special K
Presents the good, the bad, and the heavy.
Why is that cowboy wearing a ball and chain?
Because carrying around extra pounds can be just like carrying around a ball and chain.
How symbolic.
What will it be, senor? Give me the Special K breakfast.
Here you go. For a Special K, it's milk, orange juice, and coffee. Say, don't I know you from someplace?
You probably don't recognize me with my ball and chain. I used to be 10 pounds lighter, but I'm getting back that way by exercising and eating smart at every meal. Starting with this here Special K breakfast.
What's so special?
It's less than 240 calories, 99% fat-free, and delicious. It's going to help me get rid of this here ball and chain.
I bet your horse will be glad to hear that.
Another ball and chain. Fight but dust.
Your happy ending could begin with the Kellogg's Special K breakfast.
That's Kellogg's Special K.
That's right.
Good night.
When you put out good money for a homeowner's policy, you're buying the service that agent's going to give you the first time that you have a claim.
State Farm agent Gabe Franco, Fort Collins, Colorado, talks about homeowners insurance.
State Farm has always been synonymous with good service. But the amazing thing is that you get that kind of service without a big price. State Farm has a reputation for low rates. Nowadays, when a guy has a budget to watch, that's more important than ever. You have to make sure that you get the best deal for your dollar. And so you see, to get the kind of service you need for a homeowner's policy, and some real financial advantages too, and that's hard to beat.
State Farm Fire and Casualty is number one in homeowners insurance because of low rates and outstanding service. Good reasons to see your nearby State Farm agent now.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Why should love be a random, subjective thing, completely beyond our conscious control? Why can't we say, she is the logical person for me to love? Phil Sterling is determined to love his wife, because if he can't, he knows he will have to kill her.
Oh, darling, let's quit for the night.
Oh, I can mix a batch of cement and start on the wall if you want me to.
You work hard all day. Then you come home at night, and I make you work in the basement.
Oh, well, I don't mind.
Come on upstairs, wash up.
No, I'd just as soon keep working and finish this.
Oh, but not tonight, Phil. I asked the Conways over for coffee.
The Conways?
Well, they really are such lovely people.
Well, he's a bore.
Phil?
And she's such an idiot.
Phil, you have to be friendly with your neighbors.
Why?
Oh, darling, don't lose touch with ordinary people.
Gwen, I don't know what I'd do without you.
Well, that's what friends are for.
I just have nobody else to talk to. On the job, at home, the neighbors. I think I'm about ready to flip.
Well, Phil, you could always leave.
I can't. You know, you hear people say, I wouldn't do this or that for $1 million, but it's academic. Nobody ever offered them the $1 million. With me, Gwen, with me, the money is there.
It's not quite there.
It's mine. I just have to wait it out. I am in the will. I am in it for 50%. Gwen, you know how much that is?
Mm-hmm.
Besides, he's very old. How much longer can he live?
Oh, Phil, you always were a genius when it came to figuring things.
I wish I knew how to figure this.
Well, you know you can't stay, and you don't have the nerve to leave.
That isn't true.
Been getting any readings from Pluto lately?
Cut it out, Gwen.
I bet you're afraid to look.
Phil, you haven't eaten a thing.
I'm not hungry.
Oh, darling, something's troubling you. Talk to Pluto. You'll feel better.
I don't want to talk to Pluto.
Oh, he's such a comfort. Talk to Phil, Pluto. Yes.
Sylvia, I love you.
Well, I love you, and Pluto loves you, too. Tell him you love him, Pluto. Well, I know something will cheer you up. Daddy's got the results from his physical today, and he's in the best shape of his life.
He is?
And you deserve all the credit. Because he doesn't have to worry about me anymore. The doctor said Daddy will probably live forever.
Oh, that's great.
Phil, I can tell you're not feeling...
I'm fine.
You're out of sorts. Come on, let Pluto comfort you.
Keep that cat away from me.
Pluto is not that cat. Oh, now you see, you've hurt his feelings.
Oh, for crying out loud.
Tell him you're sorry. Phil wants to apologize, Pluto. Tell him you forgive him.
Once again, I was staring into Pluto's eyes. And into that boiling maelstrom of colors, all I could see now was brown. And it was the brown of the cement in the basement. And on this brown cement was a sharp and pointed mason's trowel. And suddenly, the trowel was in my hand.
No, you'll kill Pluto!
That's right.
Get
out of my way!
Oh, no!
He's driving me crazy. I have to kill him.
Phil, what's wrong? You're trembling.
It's nothing.
It can't be nothing.
I'm going out.
Again? Where?
For a walk.
Where do you always go on these walks?
Nowhere. I just walk. Now stop nagging. I don't know what I would do without you, Gwen.
Good old Gwen. Comfy as a pair of old shoes. Ready as a candlestick. Reliable, dependable. There when you need me.
Well, it's true.
Well, congratulate me. I'm getting married.
Huh? Married? Why?
Why? Has it occurred to you I might want a life of my own? Bruce asked me to marry him.
Oh, Bruce.
He may not be much, but he's all mine. And at least he asked me.
Gwen, listen. In just a couple of years, I'll really be rich.
And I hope you'll be very happy.
I'll make it up to you.
As they say in the movies, I guess this is goodbye.
But, Gwen, if I can't see you...
No, Philip. All or nothing. That's what I want. And to be fair, it's what Sylvia wants. Choose between us. Who gets all and who gets nothing.
Well, maybe I would miss Gwen. But not for long. Gwen comes back. She always comes back. My problem, Sylvia. Oh, I have to calm down. Keep your temper. Concentrate on loving Sylvia. Loving Sylvia.
Phil.
Yes, dear.
Pluto and I have a question to ask you.
Oh, what is it?
Who is Gwen?
What did you say?
I think you heard me. He heard me, didn't he, Pluto?
Yeah.
Who is Gwen?
Well, Gwen is a girl I used to know.
When did you last see her?
Now, look, what is
I'd
this?
like an answer.
Sylvia, Who told you about Gwen?
Who do you think? Pluto.
What does Pluto know?
Everything. You're in love with her, aren't you?
No.
Don't lie to me.
I am telling you the truth.
You can lie to me, but you can't lie to Pluto.
Sylvia, now listen to me. I am telling you the truth. I love you.
Oh, tell that to Pluto. I dare you to tell that to Pluto.
Pluto, that mangy cat. Hey, where are you going?
Home.
You're home now.
No, I'm going home to my father. I never want to see you again.
That damn cat, I'll kill him.
No, please, don't. Run, Pluto. Run.
Oh, that stupid cat. Look, he ran down to the basement, Sylvia. He can't get away now. I've got you cornered, you stupid cat.
Dodge him. Pluto, dodge him.
You can't get away. You won't get away.
Phil, you're mad. Put down that trowel.
Stand still. Stand still, you stupid beast. You've got nowhere to go.
Here, Pluto. Here, come to me. Come, I'll protect you.
Sylvia, let go of that cat. You give me Pluto.
No.
I won't have any peace. I won't have any sanity until I kill him.
No, Phil, no.
Let go of him.
No.
Sylvia. No. Sylvia! They were both dead. I had killed them. Both. My temper had gotten the best of me. Yes. I had to think fast. Think. First, I built a wall of cinder blocks and cement. I had everything there to do it. And then I placed her and Pluto behind it. And finally, I painted the wall and the entire basement. So there were no signs of fresh construction. I washed away every bloodstain from the floor, and from my hands, from my clothes. The place was absolutely spotless. And then I assumed a new role, and I played it to perfection. The worried husband.
What could have happened to her, Phil?
I don't know. Oh, I'm scared. How could she just disappear?
You two weren't quarreling, were you?
What, Sylvia and I?
Yeah, I know. The lovebirds.
Oh, well, I'll tell you what I'm scared of. She has all kinds of, weird ideas. And, what with that cat? Who knows? Maybe she just wandered off.
Well, we'll find her. You have to be brave, son.
Oh, I just couldn't get along without her, Dad. My only worry was the will, but I was still in it. So that worry was unnecessary. And actually, I was in it bigger and better than before. Maybe I should have killed her sooner. Yes?
Mr. Sterling?
I'm Mr. Sterling.
We're police officers.
Oh?
May we come in? I'm Lieutenant Haley. Sergeant Miller.
Yes.
Detective Krause.
Well, what can I do for you, gentlemen?
Your wife has been reported missing.
Yes, that's right.
I'd like to ask you a few questions.
My father-in-law and I wrote out a deposition. He's Frank J. Fenris, a very influential man.
So I've heard. Your wife disappeared last Tuesday night.
Oh, yes.
Mr. and Mrs. Conway, your next-door neighbors, report they heard sounds of arguing.
Did they?
Mrs. Conway characterized it as a fight.
Mrs. Conway is a fool.
But did you have a fight with your wife?
Certainly. Don't you ever fight with your wife, Lieutenant?
Do you have any idea where your wife might be now?
Lieutenant, do you suspect me of doing away with Sylvia?
No, sir.
I don't like the tone of your voice. And I don't like the look on your face either.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's that cynical know-it-all cop look. Yes. You figure that I killed her.
Mr. Sterling, I'm sorry if we seem to irritate you, but our job requires that we ask questions.
So what did I do, Lieutenant? Kill her and hide her body?
Nobody said that, sir.
Then why are you here?
To search the house.
Now, I know my rights. For that, you need a warrant.
We have a warrant.
Oh. Well, go ahead.
Jim, Otto, look around.
Well, Lieutenant, any corpses in the closets?
Will you show us to the basement?
The basement?
Yes. You have one?
Well, of course we do. Just follow me.
Jim? Anything? Otto? Mr. Sterling, I'm sorry we put you to so much trouble. Something the matter, Mr. Sterling? Mr. Sterling?
Huh? No, I'm all right.
Are you ill? You look so pale. Now, I know this must be a difficult time for you, Mr. Sterling.
Yes, it is.
Well, we're through here. Are you sure you're all right?
Oh, yes. I'm just fine.
Well, goodbye, sir.
Oh, goodbye.
You know, it's funny. I hear a cat. He must be right in this room, but I don't see him.
A cat? A cat? What cat?
You mean you don't hear that cat? Wait. He's behind that wall. He has to be behind that wall.
Pluto. Oh, no. It can't be Pluto. He's dead.
Otto, Jim, get some tools. We're going to break down that wall.
He's dead. I killed him. Why isn't he dead?
Why? The answer is simple, and it's also the moral of our story, which is, a man is ill-advised to fool with a cat. Why? Because a man only has one life, while a cat has 9. And at this point in time, Philip Frederick Sterling has no lives at all, while Pluto still has 8. I'll be back shortly.
Young I may be, but still I'm a man. Just turned 18 and I'll do what I can to find me a place where I can be me. Get ready for life, be free and see. Where do I go from here? Oh, where do I go from here? I finished school, but what lies ahead? Don't want to get trapped, want to feel free instead. All over the world, there's so much to do. The call of the sea, don't you hear it too? Where do I go from here? Oh, where do I go from here?
What about the new Navy? You'll get your chance at success, learn an exciting job, and see the world. Call toll-free 800-841-8000. That's 800-841-8000. Or see your Navy recruiter. Be someone special in the new Navy.
I know where I'm going from here.
What we're doing on this show is bringing back some of the best of the good old days. And a good old expression used to be, the cat's meow. Mom and Dad use it all the time, even though they didn't exactly know what it meant. Well, after this tale, we know. Our cast included Norman Rose, Marion Seldes, Robert Dryden, Joe DeSantis, and Evie Juster. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. And now, a preview of our next tale.
3 times on different expeditions we have excavated with no success. This time we have managed to isolate the mastaba itself, in spite of every kind of miserable luck. Cave-ins, men injured, crews deserting. But at last, within the next few days, I'm convinced the entrance will be found.
Oh, how exciting, how wonderful for you. And Hasiba, I hope she isn't a disappointment. Was she really so beautiful, do you think?
Incredibly. Her face shamed the shining sun, and the day was lit up by the light of her countenance.
You know, you sound as though you'd actually seen her.
I have.
You have?
Oh, yes, my dear. For every description fits you.
Radio Mystery Theater was sponsored in part by Anheuser-Busch Incorporated, brewers of Budweiser, and by the Kellogg Company, makers of Kellogg's Special K cereal. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.
Everyman's Theater, written and created by Arch Oboler. Oxydol invites you to hear Catwife, a mystery drama that will give you a thrill a minute, featuring Betty Winkler and Raymond Edward Johnson. Catwife is especially written for radio, part of a series of 1941-style entertainment brought to you each Friday at this time and over this station by Procter & Gamble, the makers of high-test Oxydol.
Wait, though. Are you putting up with some old-style laundry soap? An old-fashioned slow-poke soap because you feel it's economical and saving you money? Well, look, here's the way many of these soaps can and do actually lose money for you. Enough money so you'll be ahead using a laundry soap like Oxydol. First, those slow-poke soaps don't make as much suds. Well, every bit of Oxydol goes to making suds. The result is that Oxydol gives more suds, cup for cup, than 23 popular laundry soaps we tested against. Second, Oxydol suds last straight through your wash. Old-fashioned, less economical soaps don't last this long, as you know from experience. And compared to them, Oxydol can cut your laundry soap bills as much as 1/4. You'll save that in the amount of soap you use alone. And third, you don't scrub and boil clothes with Oxydol. You save that wear and tear and tatter and fray of constant washboard scrubbing. Because Oxydol soaks dirt out in 10 minutes. Throw your boiler and washboard away. Why, 10 minutes soaking in thick Oxydol suds, a good douse, and a few quick rubs for extra dirty spots like collars and cuffs, a rinse, and you're through. Clothes sparkling clean with so much less washing wear that they'll last longer and look better, too. Hundreds of thousands of women have found this out by actual trial. And thousands more are changing to Oxydol every week because it's so economical to use. Compared to old-style inefficient soaps, you get more suds and use less soap. And you get clothes clean and fresh with far less wear and tear than if you'd scrubbed and boiled them. Remember that when you buy laundry soap tomorrow. And now here's our writer-creator, Arch Oboler, to introduce tonight's 1941-style radio program.
Since the time when mankind sat around fires and caves, stories of the mysterious and unusual have been the most welcome. You and I like to be thrilled. So tonight, just for fun, let's listen to the story of a man and his wife, a very unusual wife.
I got that on mine. I don't know the rest of the words.
Hey, girls, cut it out.
Hey, woman with all
Linda, for the love of... Cut it out, will you? The old man will be standing here in a minute.
Yeah, so what? Give me my drink, Queenie. Oh, baby, do I feel swell.
Hey, look what time it is. Come on, Queenie. We better blow out of here.
Yeah. No, don't go. I don't want to be alone.
What do you mean alone? Your husband's here, ain't he?
That guy. What does he know about having fun? Work. Makes me sicker. I've never been sick before. That's pretty good, huh, Kenny? Come on, stick around. Let's have some more fun. St. Louis woman with all a diamond ring.
For heaven's sake, Linda.
Well, speak of the devil. Hiya, Johnny boy. Come on in. The water's fine. Only it ain't water.
Linda, for heaven's sake, I'm trying to work.
Go away. Go away. You're spoiling my party. Throw him out of here, Kenny. He's only my husband.
Linda, take it easy.
Get out of here. You, whatever your name is.
Okay.
And take that woman with you. Go on, clear out.
No,
Go
wait.
on.
Don't listen to him. It's my house. My house. Why, you kick them out.
Linda,
My friends.
I beg
You
with you,
kick them
pleaded
out.
with you to keep these people out of this house while I'm trying to get some work done. Haven't you any consideration at all?
You kick them out. My friends.
Yes, and I'll do it again every time I find them here. They're no good, not a one of them. You've promised me time and time again to give them up.
I'll call them back. I'll call them all back. You can't tell me what to do. Not me. They're my friends, mine. I'd give a dozen of you for one of them.
All right, Linda. If that's the way you feel. You haven't got a grain of loyalty in you. All I ask is a little peace and quiet in my own home, and I can't even have that.
Go away. Go
Night
away.
after night, you and these people yowling and screaming like a pack of alley cats, and you the worst of all. I'm through, Linda. I'm through with you for good.
Oh, no, you're not. Oh, no, you're not.
Keep away from me. Keep away. Oh, Linda.
You see? You're not through with me at all. You'll never be through with me. Never.
Oh, Linda.
Now, let me go. Let me go. I don't want you, you fool. You're not through with me. I'm through with you.
No,
I'm
listen.
tired of you. Do you hear me? Tired of you. I'm going to get so far away from that smug face of yours I couldn't see it with a telescope.
Linda, my wife.
Ha! Your wife. Why do you think I married you?
Oh, you love me.
I married you because I was sick of working in a two-bit barber shop, because I was sick of living in a hall bedroom wearing bargain sale dresses. I wanted dough, plenty of it, all I could get. And you were the best chance to get it that came my way.
No, Linda, you did love me. You must have loved me.
Oh, well, I loved you about as much as that canary up there loves its cage. I told myself I'd stay with you a year, divorce you, stick you for plenty of alimony, and then get out.
We've been married 5 years.
Yeah, 5 years. Because you fooled me. That's why.
I fooled you.
Yeah. You started to make a lot of money. More money than I ever thought you could make. So you're giving me the air, huh?
No, Linda, I love you. I didn't mean what I said. I didn't.
Well, I did.
Linda, don't leave me. You're no good. I know you're no good, but heaven help me, I love you. I'll never love anybody else.
Get out of my way.
No, I won't let you go. You've got to stay.
Take your hands
You're
off
no
me.
good. You cost me my self-respect, but you stay with me. You stay with me or I'll cut you off without a cent. You'll never get a dime from me, not a dime. Stop that. Stop laughing.
Oh, you sap. You fat-headed sap.
Stop that.
Mm-hmm. So you're gonna cut me off without a cent, are you? Why, you fool. I've got everything that belongs to you now. You hear me? Everything.
What are you talking about?
This house. It's in my name, isn't it? The car. It's in my name, isn't it?
No, you wouldn't.
Oh, wouldn't I? Well, listen to this, my darling husband. I cleaned out the bank account yesterday.
Oh, no.
Every cent of it. I won't be in the street. Oh, no. You will. Now, this is my house. Get your things and get out of here.
I'll kill you.
No,
I'll kill you.
No, let me go. Let me go. Oh. Touch me again and I'll tear your eyes out.
You cat.
Get out of my way.
That's what you are, a cat. A big, white, heartless cat.
Get out of my
you
way.
You think like one, you screech like one, you claw like one. You even look like one. Your eyes, they're cat's eyes. That's what they are, cat's eyes. A cat, that's what you are. A white cat. I didn't marry a woman, I married a cat.
Keep it up.
Laugh
Keep
at
it
me.
up. You're doing swell.
Go ahead, laugh at me. You're a cat, a sneaking, yowling cat. A cat. You're a cat. A cat. Cat. You're a cat.
Now, that's enough of that. I don't like it.
A cat.
Stop saying it.
A cat, you hear me? A cat.
John, stop staring at me like that. Stop staring at me. John, what's happening to me? John, my head. I can hardly see. John, help me. John.
Linda.
What are you staring at?
What are you staring at? What are you...
Linda! Linda!
Now, John, you've got to control yourself. Everything will be all right.
Doctor, what have I done? What have I done?
John, please. Please pull yourself together.
I can't.
You are not entirely to blame for what happened.
Oh, I did it. I'm to blame. What'll I do? What'll I do?
Stop talking like that. It's preposterous to say you were to blame. She was in a hysterical condition.
I know.
The suggestion that she was a cat caught her in an unguarded moment and resulted in temporary neurosis.
But she... Doctor, can I go in and see her?
But I tell you, she's sleeping.
I know, but... Doctor, I've got to see her. I've got to look at her. I've got to make sure she's all right. Don't you see? I've got to make sure.
Now, John, please. You've had a hard time of it. You'd better get to bed and get some rest.
No. Doctor, listen to me. I've got to see her again. I've got to make sure she's all right. I can't rest until I know.
But I tell you... Oh, very well. Just for a moment.
Yes.
Be very quiet.
Yes.
There. You see? She's resting very nicely.
Doctor, look. What? Her hands. Look at her hands. And her teeth. Linda.
No, John. You'll waken her. John.
Linda. Oh, Doctor, listen to her.
Steady, John.
I can't stand it, I tell you. Doctor, what is it? What's happening to her?
I don't know, John. I don't know.
Oh, listen to her. What'll I do?
Fingers into claws. Teeth into fangs. It can't be happening.
Well, it is.
And yet I've seen it with my own eyes.
You've got to do something, Doctor. You've got to. You're my friend. You've got to help me.
But what? In the name of all that's rational, what?
Well, think. There must be something you can do. A drug, something.
Oh, John, I don't know what to say. I can't think. I'll call in someone else. Yes, that's it. I'll inform the authorities. They'll take care of everything.
No. Wait, Doctor, wait.
What's the matter? What is it?
You're going to inform the authorities?
Yes, of course. Don't you see, my boy, it's the simplest way out of this.
Way out?
Of course. For you and for me.
What do you mean?
This horrible thing that's happened to Linda, it goes beyond just you and me. It goes beyond the normal into the supernatural. The world should know about it.
No, stop. You mean you're going to let everyone know what's happened to Linda?
Of course I am.
But you can't do that. She's my wife. Do you hear me? My wife.
No. Now don't get excited again, John. Listen sensibly. We owe it to science.
Science? Who cares about science? She's Linda. She's my wife. And I cursed her to God, and I turned her into a yowling beast. It's my shame, mine. And you're not going to tell anyone else about it. No one.
It's my duty, John. I must inform the authorities.
No. Keep away from that phone. Keep away, I say.
I'm sorry, John. I must call.
John. My friend.
And now, while we get our breath back, and, well, I, for one, need a breathing spell, well, let me remind you of those dazzling snowy white washes Oxidol gets every week. As much as 9 to 11 tintometer shades whiter than soap after soap we tested against. And yet washable colored things come out bright and lovely looking wash after wash. It's easy on hands, too. It doesn't harm your manicure or ruin your fresh nail polish. All these things Oxidol promises and will give you if you use it Monday.
No. Try to sleep, darling. try to sleep. Yes, I know, darling, but it's almost morning. You must rest. Sleep, Linda, sleep, my darling. All right, darling, I won't cry. I've got to be strong. I've got to help you. And I did help you. He was going to tell them about you. Everyone. They'd have taken you away from me, locked you up, pointed at you, laughed at you. But I stopped him, Linda. I stopped him for you. He called me friend. But you're my wife, beloved. And I love you. I pleased you, haven't I, my darling? I never could please you before, could I? But now I've pleased you. I'll tell them he never came here, and no one will ever know, darling. No one but you and I. What is it, darling? What's the matter? Why are you getting up? What is it? Why go to the window? What do you want out there? Oh, if I could only understand you. If I could only know what you're trying to say to me. Oh, no. Linda, stop. On my knees, I'm begging you to stop. Linda, beloved, stop. Yes, I'm coming.
Good morning, Mr. Taylor.
Oh, it's you.
I found this note saying you wanted to talk to me. And, Jay, I hope you're not going to quit taking milk from me.
No, I'm not going to stop taking milk. That's what I wanted to see you about. I want milk. More milk. Cream. Everything.
Well, sure. How much do you want?
4 bottles of milk. No, 6.
6?
Yes, and cream. 6 bottles of cream.
Is something wrong, Mr. Taylor?
Wrong? Why do you think something's wrong?
Well, I only meant...
You meant what? Speak up, you meant what?
Well, don't get sore, Mr. Taylor. I just meant... Well, you don't look so well, and... Well, you know how it is. Sometimes a fella has a couple too many and starts ordering all the milk in the world.
You fool, I'm not drunk. Do you want to sell me that milk, or do I have to get another milkman?
No, I'll get it for you.
Well, hurry.
6 quarts, 6 cream. Only him and his old lady. The guy's nuts.
Well, good morning, Mr. Taylor. Early again this morning, ain't you?
Morning.
My first customer every morning for the last 3 days. I was saying to my wife this morning...
Yes, Mr. Heinrich. Some other time. I'm in a hurry. My order, please.
Sure, but you didn't give me an order yet. How about a nice broiling steak?
No, nothing like that.
But broiling
No,
steak...
stop it. I'm in a hurry, I tell you.
All right. You don't have to get so excited, Mr. Taylor. Now, if you'll tell me what you want, I'll get it for you.
Oh, well, I don't know exactly. A couple of pounds of fresh liver. Yes, that's it, fresh liver.
What? Again?
You heard me?
Oh, sure, I heard you, but look here, for 3 days now, ever since your wife went away, you eat nothing but liver.
Are you going to fill my order?
Sure, I'll fill your order. Nice and fresh, huh? So, 2 pounds, yeah. There we are. Say, you'd think you was raising cats or something.
What? Why do you say that?
Well, you buy liver every day. Oh, this morning I caught a couple of mice in a trap. Maybe you'd like to take them along for the cat, too. Huh?
Don't say that! Don't say that!
Mr. Taylor, the liver... Forgot. Man's crazy. What did I say that was wrong? Cats like to eat mice.
Oh, my Linda. My dearest Linda. Close to me. Oh, so close to me. Oh, my darling, my darling. It's better this way. You can't leave me now. I'll have you with me always. I'll keep you here. Yes. Just you and I. I won't answer it. They'll go away. All right, I'll answer it. Linda, it can't be anyone that knows. He's dead. I buried him, Linda. You know that. No. Now stay here, my beloved. They mustn't see you. Be very quiet. Yes, I'm coming. Well, what is it?
Are you the owner of this building?
Yes, what do you want?
Kerrigan's the name. I'm your neighbor. I've got that place across the alley from you.
Oh, my neighbor?
Yeah, Kerrigan's the name. I'm with the department.
Department?
Yeah, I'm desk sergeant at the 3rd District Station.
A policeman?
Yeah, I'm off duty today, so I thought I'd drop over and speak to you. Do you mind if I step in for a moment?
Step in? Oh, no, not at all.
Thank you. Well, you got a nice place here.
Yes, nice, very nice.
You know the same contractors made this place as made mine. You didn't know that, I bet.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, an Irishman by the name of Gil Hooley. Jumped out of the 10th story window, they tell me, the day after the stock market crash. Lucky for him, too. If he was alive now, some of the people along here that bought places from him would murder him. What with the trouble they're having.
Oh, trouble?
Yeah, cheap material, plaster cracking, floor sagging, stuff like that.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Now, you take my place. I've had to have a new roof put on and new gutters put in, and I never know what'll go wrong next. Anything wrong around here?
Here? Oh, no, nothing at all.
Well, then you're lucky. Say.
What's the matter?
I just remember why I come over. If you don't mind, I'll tell you.
Yes?
Now, it ain't me that's complaining, Mr. Taylor. I'm the kind of a man that can sleep in a boiler factory. But it's my Ella. There's a light sleeper for you. I always say that if a star in heaven twinkles too much, the noise wakes up my Ella.
What's the trouble?
Oh, no trouble at all, Mr. Taylor. Like I'm telling you, I'm the last man in the world to go around having trouble with me neighbors. But you know how the women are. Always finding something to make a fuss about. Oh, say, I'm not disturbing her, am I?
Disturbing?
Yeah, you know, your missus. She's not sleeping in the bedroom there, is she?
No, of course not. There's no one in there.
I thought maybe seeing the doors closed.
No, I tell you there's no one in there. My wife is out of town.
Well, that's fine. I always like to talk things over man to man without the women around. That's why I made my Ella stay home. Let me handle this, I says. If there's anything wrong, I says, let me do the talking and we'll stay good.
What is it? What's wrong? What do you want to tell me?
Well, to put it plain, it's the cat.
Cat?
Yeah, the cat. You just got it, didn't
you? You heard a cat?
Yeah, it started a few nights ago. Now, it ain't disturbed me none, like I says, but my Ella. Well, you see, our bedroom window faces right on the alley, and by golly, she hears every meow that animal makes.
You're wrong.
Huh?
I have no cat.
But my Ella I heard it, too, for that matter.
I have no cat.
But I'm telling you, it came from this house.
I tell you I have no cat. Isn't that sufficient?
Well, now, seeing as you put it so plain, I'll be speaking up plain myself. I'm telling you, I heard a cat yowling last night, and the night before, and the night before that. And as sure as me name's Thomas Kerrigan, it came right from this house. Now, what do you say to that?
Get out.
Now, wait a second, me bucko. Well, get on your high horse.
Get out. Get out of my house.
Well, you sure are making a lot of noise about nothing, young fella. But it's your house, and if that's the kind of a neighbor you want to be, I guess I can...
What are you standing there for? Get out. Get out.
Now, just a minute. Take it easy. No cat, eh? Well, what was that I just heard?
Nothing. Nothing at all. You've got no right to be coming...
You may not be a liar, but you sure are something close to it. If that ain't a cat in that bedroom there, then I ain't never heard a cat.
Get out! Get out of here!
Oh, no, I won't. Listen to that cat. If that ain't creating a public nuisance, I'd like to know what it is.
It's none of your business. Get out of here. This is my house. Get out of here.
Stop pulling at me, bucko. I may be off duty, but I'm still an officer of the law, and I'm telling you, that cat in there is violating the city ordinance. Now, if you don't make it shut up, disturbing me, Ella, I will.
Stay away from that door. Stay away from that door.
Say, listen to it. That ain't no cat you got in there.
Yes, I lied. It is a cat. It's just a cat. But I'll make it be quiet. But go away.
Now, wait a minute. Take it easy. If it's just a cat, what are you getting so excited about? Just look at her.
No.
Look at her. Your eyes blazing. What's going on here? I think I'll have a look.
No. Stay away.
Oh, no. Get away. Take it away.
I told you to go.
My gun. I'll get my gun. My gun.
Linda, did you hear him? His gun. Yes. Close to me. Yes, darling, stay close to me. If he comes back, you'll... No, they won't hurt you. I won't let them. I did this to you, I did. I cursed you to God. No, they won't hurt you. They won't. Wait there. I've got to find it. They won't hurt you, Linda. No, they can't. I've got it. Now they won't hurt you, Linda. I swear it. They won't ever hurt you. No, don't look at my hand. No, why shouldn't you look at it? Yes. There's a gun in my hand. But not to hurt you, darling. It's just to help you. I swear it. To help you. Yes, so close to me. I must do it quickly. No, don't try to pull away. No, Linda, stay here. I must hold you. I must. He'll be back in a moment. I mustn't miss. Linda, my darling. I heard my beloved. I heard you. Wait for me, my beloved.
This is Arch Oboler. Tonight's play, Catwife, featured Betty Winkler and Raymond Edward Johnson. Music by Gordon Jenkins. About next week. Well, the actors, two of our favorites, Mr. and Mrs. Houston, Walter Houston and Ann Sunderland. The play, a story of two people who perhaps lived in your own town, who lived a strange, excitement-filled life that you perhaps knew nothing about. The title of the play, Mr. and Mrs. Chump.
Before we leave you, just one more word about next Monday's wash. Well, you've heard me tell of Oxidol's economy, the white, clean washes you get, its safety to every washable color. Well, it's all up to you now. If you want those results in Monday's wash, and even if some other laundry soap is your favorite now, well, ask for Oxidol, Oxydol, tomorrow. You'll always be glad you changed.
And be back with us next Friday at this same time for Every Man's Theater. Every Man's Theater brings you something new, something different every single week. And next Friday, it's Mr. and Mrs. Walter Houston in a great new radio play, Mr. and Mrs. Chump. Thank you, and good night. Every Man's Theater is written and created by Arch Oboler.
This is the National Broadcasting Company.
Roma Wines presents Suspense. Roma Wines, made in California for enjoyment throughout the world.
Salud. Your health, senor.
Roma Wines toast the world. The wine for your table is Roma Wine, made in California for enjoyment throughout the world.
This is the Man in Black, here for the Roma Wine Company of Fresno, California, to introduce this weekly half hour of Suspense. Tonight from Hollywood, Roma Wines bring you Mr. Sonny Tufts in a suspense play that tells of a murder in Boston and of perilous adventure in Vermont's snow-covered hills. And so with Cat and Mouse, and with the performance of Sonny Tufts as John Guthrie, an engineer, we again hope to keep you in suspense.
W1QXL, W1QXL, W1QXL. This is W1RBX calling W1QXL, W1QXL. This is WIR, Montcar, Vermont, calling and standing by.
W1RBX, W1RBX. This is W1QXL in Boston, returning. Hiya, Guthrie, how you been? Signal's clear, good signal. Come in.
W1QXL, W1QXL, W1RBX back. Hello, Lockwood. I'm fine. Signal's good up here. I got lots to tell you. Been trying to get in touch with you for the last couple of hours. Where you been? Out to dinner with Valentine? Go ahead.
Sorry, Guthrie, I haven't seen Val today. She hasn't answered her phone. Guess she's awful tired of picking it up and hearing me on the other end proposing. Anyhow, I've been working hard. Oh, had a little excitement here at the laboratory an hour or so ago. Thought we had a prowler on the grounds. But guess it was a false alarm. Nerves, I guess. What's your news, Guthrie? I've got a bit for you myself, but let's hear yours first. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, as far as I'm concerned, kiddo, you can set up a date for demonstration for the Army Signal Corps and the Naval Ordnance people just as soon as you like. We're in the clear now for keeps. I got the last bug out of the screen this morning, and it ought to make the prettiest little image you ever saw. And if the brass hats put the steam on, I don't see why it shouldn't be in there fighting in a couple of months. Now, let's hear about you. Go ahead.
Boy, that sounds great. Hold it, Guthrie. Something going on here. Keep listening. I'll be back in a second. Who is it? Who's out there? Who's there? Get out from there or I'll shoot. Come out. Stop. Stop.
What is it, Lockwood? Howard, what's the shooting? Is that you coughing? Lockwood, is that you? Go ahead.
Hello. Hello, Guthrie. I saw him that time. Almost got him with my rifle. Wonder what that guy can want. Well, I know one thing he's got, and that's a sore throat. Boy, did you hear that cough? Go ahead.
I'm worried, Lockwood. Somebody must be getting wise to what we've got. We better arrange for more protection around the lab. Well, you've heard my say of it. How are you getting on with the blueprints? Go ahead. Did you hear me, Howard? Go ahead. W1QXL, W1QXL. What's happened? Come back in. Go ahead.
Hello. This is W1QXL. I'm going away. I'm going skiing. I'm going skiing up in Sunbury, Vermont at the Phoenix Hotel. The Phoenix. Have you got that, Frank?
Frank? What's all this about you going skiing? You've never been on skis in your life. Besides, I'm coming up to see you, and it's important. We'll get together now in the blueprints, okay?
At the Phoenix Hotel. Go ahead, Frank.
What's this gag calling me Frank? What's going on? I hear voices behind you. Sounds like interference. You all right? I say, are you all right? I'm leaving here for Boston in the morning. I'll bring the whole works.
No, don't. And don't contact Val. If anything happens to me, the man with the cough. The man with the cough. The cough.
Lockwood, what's up? You still there? Come in. Come in, Lockwood. Lockwood, come in. Lockwood, go ahead. W1QXL, W1QXL. This is W1RBX calling. Go ahead. W1QXL, W1QXL. This is W1RBX. Go ahead.
Tonight for Suspense, Roma Wines bring you as star Mr. Sonny Tufts, whom you have heard in the prologue to Cat and Mouse by Hugh Pentecost. Tonight's adventure in Suspense.
While the play's scene changes, let me describe another scene that might even now be taking place in the handsome cafe of the Hotel Nacional de Cuba in Havana. An American visitor has remarked to his Cuban host what great enjoyment the Cuban music and the dancing gives him. Gracefully, the Cuban host returns the compliment, saying, "But your United States makes us a gift that gives great pleasure on many occasions. Your superb wine from the choice wine districts of your California, your Roma wine." Yes, for a wine to give great enjoyment, it must have greatness of character, and it's this that has spread the fame of Roma wines to other lands. Why, otherwise, would these countries import Roma wines to be enjoyed as a rare luxury? How fortunate, then, are you who can enjoy any of the Roma wine's many different delicious wine types whenever you choose without additional charge for import duty, with no high shipping costs added to your small cost for Roma wines. Yet here is a quality so high it has won international recognition. Quality coupled with cost so modest that Roma wines are America's largest selling wines. Why not make your own taste test of these good Roma wines and discover for yourself the fine wine qualities acclaimed by wine experts of many lands? I'll spell out the name for you. R-O-M-A. Roma wines, made in California for enjoyment throughout the world.
And now it is with pleasure that we bring back to our soundstage our star, Sonny Tufts, as engineer John Guthrie in Cat and Mouse, a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Well, that's about all the facts we know, Miss Ames.
Yes?
The bruises on Mr. Lockwood's head were a little hard to explain, as you pointed out. It was the explosion that killed him. That seems to be fairly...
Dr. Vaughn, yes, the explosion may have been what actually was the final cause of his death. I take a doctor's word like you for that. But those marks and bruises, suppose he'd been beaten, hit over the head in order to make him...
In order to make him what?
I can't say any more, Dr. Vaughn. I don't know quite what I'm talking about anyhow, I guess. You see, Howard had been experimenting with something. He had a collaborator.
Collaborator?
Yes, I don't know who. Howard would never... Well, he used to talk with this other man on shortwave. They both had shortwave sets. Radio hams, you call them. Those amateur radio operators.
Yes. Well, I must go.
Oh, let me help you with your coat, Dr. Vaughn.
Oh, thank you. I must say that after talking to you, I'm partly convinced, Miss Ames, but murder's a pretty difficult thing to prove, especially in this case, and...
Oh, excuse me.
I'll be going, then.
Hello? Yes? Who? Mr. Guthrie. Well... Oh, I see. Well, if you were his friend, Where, in the drugstore? Yes, I'll wait. Just come right up to apartment 15E. Yes. Goodbye. Thank you again for your trouble, Dr. Vaughn.
Well, please feel that you can call...
Oh, I'll get you some water.
No, don't bother. Too many cigars. Bad larynx. I'm awfully sorry. I'll say goodbye.
Sure you're all right?
No, it's perfect. Don't worry. I'll keep in touch with you, Miss Ames.
Yes. Well, goodbye now. Oh, just a minute.
Hello. You must be Valentine Ames.
Yes, I am.
I'd recognize you anywhere.
Well, just, are you Mr. Guthrie? Just throw your things in that chair there.
You're just as I pictured you. Lockwood spoke of you so often.
Howard spoke of me? Do
Well,
you?
You were engaged to be married, weren't you?
No, I was fond of him, but never
he-
that way.
He told me, that is, he said...
Then you were his collaborator. Oh, please, Mr. Guthrie, you can trust me. I need help. They all say his death was an accident. The coroner, the newspapers, the police. But I know it wasn't.
How do they say it happened?
An explosion in his laboratory. Chemicals he was using in his experiments.
Nonsense. Explosion. There wasn't anything more explosive in Lockwood's lab than a package of matches.
Then you were his collaborator. Oh, please trust me.
Lockwood was murdered. I know it.
You think so, too, then?
Yes.
Well, then our job is to prove he was murdered.
No, I'm sorry, Val. There's something more important that comes first. When they killed Lockwood, they stole half of our... Well...
Your invention? But half an invention is worthless.
But I have the other half.
In other words...
Yeah. I'm next. We can count on that.
But they don't know who you are.
Maybe not yet. That was why Lockwood kept calling me Frank when he was talking to me, near the end. He didn't want to give my name away to them.
And you've no idea who they are? Just something we could start on?
It was just one thing. That night, the night he was killed, we were talking in a shortwave, and he'd been bothered by a prowler. He spoke of it. Why, I even heard the fellow in the air. He was...
Oh, that phone. Excuse me a second. Hello? Yes? Oh, Dr. Borbert. Yes, it's nice of you to call me back, and thank you so much for sending Dr. Vaughn to see me. He certainly is... Dr. Vaughn? But you sent him to see me about Dr. Lockwood. About Dr. Edwin Vaughn? You're positive? I see. Well, thank you anyway. Bye.
What's up?
Someone just before you came, and Dr. Edwin Vaughn said he was with the coroner's office. Called on me.
And the coroner's office never heard of him. Is that it?
Never.
Uh-huh. Well, who was he? I mean, what did he look like? Would you recognize him if you saw him again?
Well, he was just a middle-aged fellow. Poor man had a terribly bad cough, one of the really hacking coughs.
A cough?
Yes.
It's the same one. He came to Howard's lab the night of the killing. I heard him.
You're sure?
Positive. You see, it fits. He was looking for me. Figured I'd come here to see you. He wants my half an invention. Well, Val, they need what I've got, and I've got to get back what they've stolen, so...
Where are you going?
Skiing.
What?
I'm going back to Vermont to go skiing. I'll send you a card from the Phoenix Hotel.
Next up is Sunbury, Vermont. Sunbury.
Bring me an orangeade, Porter. Well, hello. You're new up here.
Beg your pardon?
You're going to the Phoenix Hotel, of course. It gets so you know a skiing fan when you see one. I know most all the Phoenix crowd. This must be your first trip to the Phoenix, huh?
Yeah, it is.
Name's O'Brien.
John Guthrie.
Excuse me. Do they serve drinks in this lounge car?
Yes, they do.
Yeah, you're new, too.
Well, yes, I've only been in the States a few weeks.
Oh, no. I mean new to our weekend skiing contingent.
Skiing contingent?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I'm O'Brien. This is Mr. Guthrie. What'd you say your name was?
Well,
Thanks, Porter, thanks. And bring me a couple more cigars, will you?
Here, take one of mine while you're waiting, Mr. O'Brien.
Oh, thank you. Now, that's what I like about the Phoenix crowd. They're sociable. Everybody pals with everybody else.
Sounds very pleasant.
Yes, I suppose so.
Well, well, anyway, you wait. By Monday, everyone in the place will be calling you by your first name.
Oh, really? Well, I guess I'd better be getting back to my compartment. Very happy to have met you, gentlemen. See you later.
Weird duck. Unsociable like. Now, I always say, you take a fellow that won't mix.
Be quiet a minute.
What's the matter with you, Mr. Guthrie? You look like you'd seen a ghost.
Good evening, Mr. Guthrie. I trust you're feeling refreshed now, sir.
Yeah, 3 hours sleep and a long walk was just what I needed. Any messages for me?
No, sir. Good evening, Mr. O'Brien.
Hello there, hello. Ah, there you are. I've been looking for you everywhere. Want to introduce you around to some of the folks here.
Well, thanks, Mr. O'Brien. I would kind of like to get acquainted.
Why, sure. Be sociable. You see the old lady in the wheelchair? That's Mrs. Garvey.
Mrs. Garvey, eh?
Yeah. They're new here, too. Legs paralyzed, poor soul. Always sits and knits. The husky man's her husband. Well, hello there, folks.
Hello, Irishman.
Well,
Feels good here.
so you're our newcomer.
Only one of them, yeah. And this sweet soul, Mr. Guthrie, is Mrs. Garvey.
Excuse my not shaking hands. I'm all tied up in this ball of wool. When you can't walk, you compensate by keeping the hands over busy.
Well, it's very considerate of you to make me feel at home here, Mrs. Garvey and Mr. Garvey.
Surprised a strong young man like you isn't in the army.
Really, Daddy, you have to excuse him, Mr. Guthrie. Nosy and fresh.
Well, there's no harm done. See, I'm an engineer, and they've deferred me. Theory is I'm doing my share as is, I suppose.
Yeah. I'm a promoter myself.
Here, Daddy. Hold out your hands. That's it. Now, don't wiggle or my wool will slip.
And I'm not in the army because I'm too old. Took advantage of the over 38 law. I'm 59.
He's a card, isn't he?
Sure is. Just what is a promoter, Mr. Garvey?
Careful, Daddy. Those knitting needles almost stuck you then. They're special needles, Mr. Guthrie. Sharp. Why, they could cut ice or pierce wood.
Or kill a man.
Yes.
Yes, I'll be careful, Mother. So you're an engineer, Mr. Guthrie. I knew an engineer. Fine boy.
Oh, I remember him. He was a dear boy.
Anybody I know?
No. I thought I'd try to get him to come up here. Was working on an experiment I was very much interested in. He wouldn't do business with me, though.
Yeah?
Now, bring your hands together, Daddy. That's a good boy. Fine. Daddy has such big, strong hands, yet they're so gentle.
Well, the boy's dead now. Met with an accident, I think.
Really? What did you say his name was?
Howard Lockwood.
Yes, Lockwood. He had a collaborator I've been trying to locate. He and I could really have a long talk.
Say, by the way, Guthrie, have you seen that bird, the unsociable one we came up in the train with?
No, I haven't.
He's probably a big businessman. He seems so nervous. I tell you, it doesn't pay. Be sociable. Business can always wait.
Definitely.
When I see how little you fellas get out of life, I thank heavens I had the sense to retire.
How long have you been retired, Mr. O'Brien?
Be 4 years in June.
You were in business for yourself?
No, I was a professional man.
Oh, I see. Medicine?
No, detective. I was with the FBI. Come in. Well, Guthrie, come in. Feel just like a nice sociable talk. Sit down.
Mr. O'Brien, I'm in trouble and I need expert help, and you were an FBI man. You can help me.
Uh-oh. I was afraid of that. I'm sorry, Guthrie. I'm retired. Too old for the game. You get a hold of the Boston office. They'll get someone up to help you in a jiffy. Call Jack Porter. He's in charge now. They'll mention my name.
But there's no time now. You see, Boston is 6 hours from here. I need help right now.
Oh, take it easy, boy. Relax. I suppose you're another engineer with some gadget that's going to win the war. That's a familiar one.
Mr. O'Brien, this is serious. There's a murder in this hotel, and if I don't get him, he'll get me.
Now, take it easy.
If you'll just give me a hand.
You know, I felt there was something going on here this weekend. Things weren't sociable like they usually are.
Mm-hmm. What have you noticed?
Well, nothing in particular. Just people seem to act funny. You take that Garvey and his old wife, and that bird with a cough that came up on the train with us. What's he up to, eating his meals in his room?
Look, will you help me, Mr. O'Brien? I do have an invention, as it happens, and...
Oh, excuse me a minute. Hello? Mr. Guthrie? Yes, he's here. The gentleman in 421. Right now. Very well. Goodbye. It's for you. Party in 421 wants you to step in and see him.
That's him. That fake Dr. Vaughn. Well, this is it. And you refuse to help.
Oh, now, look, I'd like to, I guess, but after all...
All right, O'Brien, but look, just this. 421 is right down the hall. And if I'm not back in 10 minutes, will you knock on the door?
Oh, that much I'll do for you.
John.
Val. Valentine, what are you doing here? We agreed that you...
No, John. Open your door quickly before we're seen together.
Look, Val, I've got something important to do. Wait in my room for me. If I can only find a key.
The door's open.
It's funny. I locked it.
Look!
The room's been searched. My papers, the pillows, my trunk.
Oh, John, they know you.
Where is it?
You didn't bring the blueprints with you here.
Not that dumb. Well, it's gone.
What?
My gun.
Oh, John, I'm afraid.
I feel as if I'd known you for a long time.
My dear.
Val, you know I love you, don't you?
John, we shouldn't talk about that now.
But, you see, I've been in love with what I think you are. I've only known you for 2 days, and...
What are you trying to ask me, John?
Why you came when we agreed that you shouldn't.
Because I was afraid that you...
And why I find you hiding near my door and find the door unlocked when I had locked it only 10 minutes ago, and then I come into my room and I find this.
Oh, John, don't. Please don't. I came because I wanted to help you. I felt that if you were in danger, it wasn't right for me to stay home, safe, not knowing.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Val. I trust you. Look, stay here. I'm going down the hall. Somebody's waiting.
Oh, don't go, John. Don't, please. I'm afraid for you.
You got a gun, Val?
Yes, I thought I might need it.
Well, give it to me. Now, kiss me.
Oh, John,
Wait here. If I'm not back in 10 minutes, get the police.
Where are you going?
Room 421. To talk to a man about his cough.
I'm going with you.
This is his room.
I'm going in with you.
You're staying outside. Step back. Don't let him see you. Open up.
His door's open, too. There on the rug, the body.
Dr. Vaughn, he's dead.
Look at the gun. He's holding it. He killed himself.
You mean he's supposed to look as if he killed himself? He was shot in the back of the head. A bit too neat.
What do you mean?
That gun in his hand. It's mine.
Then if he wasn't the murderer, who was he? Oh, John, the gun. They'll think that you...
Shh, take it easy. That gun may come in handy. Come in.
Well.
Oh, Brian, look here.
What?
This gun's mine. It's a plot to frame me.
What? That's not your killer, Guthrie. That's Hilary Lawrence of Scotland Yard, assigned to this case because his government, like ours, is keenly interested in your invention. I should have listened to you before, Guthrie.
You know about it then?
I checked. Called FBI office in Boston. Talked to Porter. Yes, your Dr. Vaughan was Hilary Lawrence of Scotland Yard.
He was the one you heard in Lockwood's lab the night he was killed.
He must have got a little too close in the tail of the real killers.
Mr. Garvey was... Well, I really don't know enough to talk. I better shut my big mouth. But I think I know.
You know the killer?
No, but I have no proof. Without proof, Guthrie, you'll be held for the murder of Lawrence.
That's obvious.
We've got to get our other evidence before someone finds the body.
Yeah. You know, there must be a hideout around here they operate from.
There's a cabin about a mile to the left from the top of the ski jump. I saw it one day when I got lost. I've got a funny hunch it might be the place. If we can get there and find something involving them before the hotel people find this body and arrest you, we'll be...
Well, what are we waiting for? Come on, let's go. Come on back to my room, Val. See you downstairs in 5 minutes, O'Brien.
But if we don't find proof, John, what then?
Then we get murdered or get held for murder. The cabin's dark.
Yeah, one of these keys must fit. Ah, that one does it. Softly now. Mr. Guthrie, I'll take Miss Ames's gun. You're too impulsive. Thanks. Well, there's no one here. Draw the shade, please.
I better keep a lookout on the road. Someone may come.
That's a good idea. Now, this is what I call a real sociable evening.
Look, a note, and it's addressed to me.
Well, we're in the right place then. Read it.
Guthrie, 200,000 in cash for your blueprints, and you can get the cash first, wherever you designate, with no questions asked as to what government gets them. Why those...
Calm me, my boy. You don't have the prints here, do you?
No, they're in a safety vault, and my name is San Francisco.
What's that there, that panel?
It's a radio rig, sending and receiving.
Someone's coming.
Who? Quick, turn up that light.
Sneak a look, John, here through the window.
It's Garvey, and he's alone.
Alone? Are you sure? Where'd he put that wife of his? Take another look.
He's alone, all right.
I knew she was a phony. She does too much knitting. I wonder where she is. All right, Miss Ames, out you go, quickly. Get to the foot of the road before he does.
Uh-huh.
It's your car, understand me.
Yes.
You're lost, looking for a way back to the Phoenix. Delay him from coming in here.
Right.
I'll go outside. You search the place, O'Brien, with Val.
No, let the girl go. Her best weapon is her charm. Hurry now. Stall them as long as you can. Good luck. Don't worry. I can see them from here.
Look at it. Short wave. Yeah. With this outfit, Garvey could hear Lockwood and me talking over our work.
Yeah. Pretty clever operator, I'd say.
Can you see Val?
Yeah. She's getting near him now. Brave girl, that one.
The best.
There she is. He's seen her.
Let me have a look.
See them? Over my finger, between that row of trees.
Yeah, she's talking to Garvey now. She'll stall him.
Yeah.
Hey, come on, O'Brien. Let's start searching this place.
Wait a minute. Look, they're coming this way. The two of them. Well, I should have known.
Val? Oh, no, it can't be.
Sorry, Guthrie, but you're seeing right. The girl's with Garvey.
But she loves me. I know it. She's honest. I swear it.
They're coming up the path. You stand behind the door. I'll stand up on the balcony and cover them from behind with a gun. You all set, Guthrie?
All set.
You spring out on them as they close the door, and I'll cover you from here.
Val, Garvey, duck. He's got the gun. Above.
Oh, my arm.
O'Brien.
All of you reach. Don't stoop for that gun, Guthrie. Up with your arms. The three of you are going to join the late Mr. Lockwood. The girl and Mr. Garvey of the FBI who poked his nose in a bit too far.
You're out of your mind, O'Brien. What will you get by killing us? I've got the information you want, and if I'm dead, you'll never get it.
I'm fighting for my life now, not your invention. With you three out of the way, I've got a chance. A fire in this lovely cabin will do the job nicely. Now get into that closet, all of you. Get started.
You're missing one, O'Brien. My wife.
I'm not worrying about that.
Drop your gun, Mr. O'Brien. That point you feel in your back is my knitting needle. Drop it. Remember, it can crack ice, pierce wood, or kill a man.
Okay, Mrs. Garvey. Certainly nice to see you again.
Nice job, Guthrie. You tipped us off just in time. Sit down, Mother. You look tired. You must be standing behind the kitchen door for an hour.
Look here.
Just be quiet, Mr. O'Brien. Formerly of the FBI. Kicked out for improper conduct, he was. The service has had its eye on you ever since, my friend.
Yeah, you see, you made a slight error, O'Brien, when you said you'd call the porter of the Boston FBI office. The outgoing lines from the hotel have been out of order since 5 o'clock.
Oh, your arm, Daddy. Here, let me bandage it.
You better get going and have it looked after.
Oh, it's bleeding. I think I'm going to faint.
Faint ahead, Val. I got a pair of arms that aren't doing a thing.
And so closes Cat and Mouse, starring Sonny Tufts, tonight's tale of suspense. Mr. Tufts appeared through the courtesy of Paramount Pictures and will soon be seen in the Paramount picture, I Love a Soldier.
Few spots in the globe boast the unique and perfect combination of nature's gifts, which makes possible truly good wine. Wine which the whole world can enjoy. But wine experts will tell you that among these fortunate spots, none can surpass the vineyards of our own California. From these renowned California vineyards come Roma wines. Wines so perfect in flavor, so delightful, that they are enjoyed in many countries of the world. To us in America, Roma wines are an everyday treat, for we may buy them at an astonishingly low price, since we pay no import duties or expensive shipping costs. Do you enjoy a delicious tangy sherry? Well, tomorrow treat yourself to a glass of Roma California sherry. We're sure you will agree that you have never tasted finer. With your first sip, you'll understand why Roma wines are America's largest selling wines. I'll repeat the name, R-O-M-A, Roma wine. Tomorrow, ask your dealer for your favorite type of Roma wine, made in California for enjoyment throughout the world.
This is Sonny Tufts, and I hope you enjoyed our suspense play this evening. I know I had a good time. I'm looking forward to next week's show, and I know you must be, when that remarkable actress, the Academy Award winner, Madame Katina Paxinu, will be the star of Suspense.
Suspense is produced and directed by William Spear. Next Thursday, same time, you will hear Katina Paxinu in Suspense.
Presented by Roma Wines, made in California for enjoyment throughout the world. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.